We're red.
Red. We will open this meeting of June 13th, 2013. Let the record show that Selectman LaPlante is on vacation. I will immediately go into a non-public as per RSA 91A:3, C, matters which discussed in public would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes. Hit the button.
And we're red.
Okay.
Make a motion, we seal the minutes of the non-public portion as a, where is it? As it pertains to,
RSA 91A:3,
okay, RSA 91A:3,
paragraph C,
paragraph C.
permanently, until the matter's
Yeah, I
resolved.
understand
Until the
that.
matter's resolved.
Okay, then, aye. Second.
Okay, thank you.
Whatever it
All those
is,
in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
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 I think I'd come up.
Is Donna Rhodes down there?
I didn't see her.
Do we have the camera?
Camera's on.
No, do we have it?
Oh, I've got one.
Do you have a camera?
I've got one. Because I sent her the agenda and she said it, sent it back, thank you. What time are they gonna, what time is it gonna meet?
How are you? Oh, she's right here.
She is. She's here, Catherine.
Come on up.
Donna's here.
Yeah, trash bags out of the way.
We are purple.
Hi, how are you?
Come on up, Mrs. Budo. We don't have any chairs for them. What happened to them?
Well, let me grab some chairs.
Bring you to the front.
Oh, look at that.
How special is
I
that?
don't know.
There you go.
There you go.
Thanks.
2 up front and then 1 for the press.
Donna's here.
Hello, press.
Yeah, I use it. I've been using it almost daily.
I'm sitting down there doing my paperwork.
How are you?
Good, thanks, how are you?
Good, good. Dave, nice to see you. So, Mr. and Mrs. Barbuto are here to answer our call, our plea to help out our seniors in the air conditioning program, and which we will welcome with open arms on this one. Our senior program, let me rephrase that, our air conditioning program is for our less fortunate seniors that live in apartments down here that do not have the building constructed in a manner that they can have window air conditioning.
Right.
Therefore, they are forced to either purchase on their own, and it's low-income housing, a floor unit, which is very costly to them. We also have to keep in consideration that this unit that we purchase is one that doesn't deplete the ozone or oxygen, because most of them are, I should say, a good portion of them are on oxygen now. And so we found a unit, and each year we have more requests than our air-conditioned supply. And so we partner up with the police and the explorers, and they install them in the apartments. We have a letter of medical necessity, and they install the units, and then in the fall, we go and pick them up, and then they're stored here in Town Hall. And then next year, we go through the same process again. So this year, being that hot wave that we had, everybody started calling, and the air conditioners started going out, and I personally went into a panic because our air conditioner supply is going to get very low. And usually there's always 1 or 2 seniors that wait and say they can do without it until the heat starts, and then they start to feel it in a medical way, and that's when they start to reach out. And so I can't thank you enough for helping us to continue to help them. It's a tremendous joy to us to know that there are people in the community like you folks. So it's amazing. Come to our rescue.
We're happy to help, that's for sure.
Yep. It's beautiful. So I personally want to thank you.
Yes.
And on behalf of Heather, who couldn't be here tonight, we want to thank you as well. She wanted to make sure that she sends out a huge thank you to you as well. So it'll be put to tremendous use. So I want your picture taken. We want your picture taken so that we can have it, so that people can see that there are people like you in the community that give and continue to give. Because you're...
And how much we appreciate you for it.
always seem to be out there when we need you. And that's very appreciated. So,
Neighbors helping neighbors.
yep. Donna, where do you want to go for the pic?
The solution to the air conditioning. Hold on a second.
You're talking faster than I write.
We should get a nice backdrop.
That's what I was just looking on for a backdrop.
You don't like our shower curtain? I thought we should all wear shower caps someday.
Yes, sit here with our big shower caps on.
You're not taking the pictures of me? Come on. Miss Photogenic Tilton, 2013.
We usually take them over between the flags and
Yeah, by the flags and all of that.
Bob looks, it looks like official and whatnot.
that easel isn't usually there, but
And it won't be there for this.
Come on, Gavin.
I thought it was just,
No. You're the one that started the program with us. Come on.
Catherine, you are definitely in.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, the rest aren't here.
We can stand in the back, Catherine.
stand with you.
Catherine and I
always
always
manage
end up
to do that,
standing
Joe.
in the back.
I usually stand on the end. You're another one that's always in the back.
Make it in the picture, it's good.
Yes,
This works out very well. There's 2, 2, and 2.
right.
You come stand right beside, and each one is stand in the middle. Yep. That's the best laid out photo I've had in a long time.
Yes, everybody's in the back,
So
right?
equal.
Absolutely.
It's very equal and very wonderful.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, you
Yes.
ready? Sandra, you never look at me. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna take a couple, just in case anybody blinks. Perfect.
It's a couple. I'm blind.
Okay. Makes us feel better.
I am well. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm okay.
Yeah, you've been a busy man.
I've been beat on
Thank you for the press release.
a couple days.
Yeah.
Garbage cans went out.
Yes, I saw.
Recycling cans.
Right.
Well, there's bumps in the road. The bumps, talking about them before it happened, it's easier
We
than
will.
living with
The repercussions.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's okay.
Not everybody's gonna be happy.
No,
Is that right?
and I don't expect them to be. They all deserve to be listened to, so I do.
Listen, glad to see you helping the people.
Well, I know one new
You're a good person.
Who's that?
Thank you very much.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Oh, just about Feener's house.
All right. Take care.
She's like,
Yeah.
yes, I got my recycling cans. She was very excited.
Good night.
Some were.
You.
I actually got some good comments.
Yes,
Some.
Thanks,
well,
thank you.
A couple.
So I will
okay.
meet you, and I will see you all soon.
Okay, thank
Bye,
you.
Donna.
Thanks, Donna.
Gonna make a motion to accept it.
Yeah, I've got a few of them here.
Okay.
Before we go right back into non-public for legal, I'll make a motion to accept these.
Second.
Well, let me read them so that people know we have.
Hold the second.
I make a motion that we accept the donation from Tilton Trailer Rentals from Dave and Mr. and Mrs. Barbuto for $500 to the air condition fund, from Marge Bonneville for $20, from Rita Rowe, $100, and from Cynthia and Mark Kuharahara, $150. Second.
Second.
I'd say something, but I would cry, because this is amazing. This is what communities are all about. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank everyone. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. Yes, thank you. All right.
With thanks.
Make a motion that we go into non-public as per RSA 91A:3, legal.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes, yes. What a night.
Okay, I make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public as they pertain to an individual.
Legal, till the matters are resolved.
Okay, until, it pertains to legal until the matters are resolved.
Legal is not non-public. When you go into legal, you don't go into non-public.
That's right. We did, though,
We did, but we
because
should,
we did deeding as well.
yeah, we should, when we're going into specific legal, which we did previously.
Right.
Was there a second?
There's a different
Second.
process you go through.
Are we legal here?
Uh-huh,
All those in favor?
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Oh, I feel bad, just sitting down there half an hour.
Mr. Fogg?
Good day.
Indeed.
Hi.
Good night, sir.
Joyce said to move her stuff and pull chairs in, so I'm not sure.
Move her stuff.
All right.
My business card to start with. Do you have that?
About Judy,
Are you taking the notes?
this is
No, I'm not the note taker.
You are.
No,
I just saw the
President
computer.
of Selectmen.
no, I've got presentations coming up here.
Dana Grant, that is it.
Where is it?
You have presentations, so.
We'll find out soon.
No, that's all right. Hey,
How are you? Good, how are you? Good, thanks. Hi.
Right?
No, not at all.
Honey?
Cindy said she sent you a text that's,
I said I'd ask. You need to know right now?
yes, you wanted, Cindy wanted.
You need to know right now?
No, we just wanted to go over it. We invite the selectmen Monday night to the 6 another year.
Yeah.
Joyce?
6 ceremonies at 6:30.
We got an email from Peg. I was going to read. Thanks, Judy.
Sorry.
Oh, she did?
Is it Pat?
Pat Constantino.
Hi, Pat. Jeannie Wright.
Hi, Jeannie.
How are you?
Dieter?
And Sandy, you already
I
have my
have
card from
mine.
earlier. So I guess I should see those. Evidently.
You
the
introduce
last-
others? Yeah.
What's that?
Introduce everyone else?
I will. Anyhow, I will tell you that my name is Jeannie Wright, and I'm from Rock NH, which is a division of the Community Loan Fund, and I am here tonight with the folks from Gaslight Village Cooperative. This is Jeff Preston. He is the president of the Board of Directors, and this is Mary Dubia. She is the secretary of the Board of Directors, and then we have Vinyl Worcester, who is the treasurer of the Board of Directors.
So Jeff Preston? Okay.
President? Secretary? Yeah. And Vinyl? Treasurer.
All the major players tonight.
Okay, I'm Sandy Plessner, I'm a selectman.
Pat Constantino, I'm a selectman.
Catherine Dawson, I'm a selectman.
I'm Joe Jessman, and I'm sitting here, so
Hi, Joe.
I'm a selectman too.
When this discussion is over, I need to have a discussion with you as health officer.
Great. But the reason that we're here tonight is actually to get some general idea if the Town Selectmen Board would be willing to support Gaslight Village in a CDBG grant. Gaslight has identified some infrastructure issues, most importantly, the need to tie into the sewer line on Route 3 or somewhere adjoining. They are under the understanding that they will not be able to upgrade or rehab any septic tanks if they fail. So they realize this is an imminent need for them. There have also been, due to a feasibility study, there have been some needs for water lines to be replaced identified as well. These folks are constantly chasing water leaks out there, as recently as today. So it's become a huge expense to them. So the Community Loan Fund has stepped in and has developed an outline of what the cost would be from their study, and the cost of that project is approximately $1.16 million. And they're hopeful that with the help from a CDBG grant, as well as financing through the Community Loan Fund and support with the DES funding, that they'll be able to come up with the money. So that's why we're here tonight, not to actually to find out whether or not you would approve an application, but to get a general idea of if you would be willing to support them applying for an application. We understand it's too late for the July round, but we were hopeful for the January round. I'm sure you probably have a ton of questions, or...
No, I think hooray. If you can
Yep.
do this, it's excellent, and for more reasons than I can say in public.
Yeah, and I will say that we did have a membership meeting on the 26th where, you know, the whole situation was outlined, and it was unanimous to move forward to at least research funding possibilities for the project, and everyone was gung-ho with, you know, pro-progress in the co-op, that they realize that the infrastructure is a huge piece to this.
Does it would it ultimately increase their stay there, their rent?
Well, one of the things we're working on is the financing piece with the Community Loan Fund. We're hopeful with the refinancing. They have two current mortgages, one with Bank of New Hampshire and one through the New Hampshire Community Loan Fund. And if the New Hampshire Community Loan Fund was to take on that existing mortgage and work it out with a lower interest rate, we think that they'd be able to do it with, if none, maybe a small increase, or hopefully none at all. They did just have to face an increase due to just paying their monthly debt service, so. We're going to do everything in our power to work with them, as long as it's that the co-op members are doing everything they can to make sure that certain things happen. Infrastructure, and they have a great board up here. They're very, very dedicated, and they show up to meetings, and they've done some training with infill to try to, you know, fill an empty lot they have and talk about some of the retail space that may become an availability to lease, so, you know, working hard in their volunteer time.
Is this something that, how does it get managed?
Through the Community Loan Fund, we actually have, we have an infrastructure program right through the Community Loan Fund. And of course, there'd be a system of, there'd be a qualifications for engineers. An engineer would be hired to design the study, probably do some upgraded studies, because we're going off of one that was done back in 2010. And I'm sure you know that prices go up dramatically. We did take that into consideration when coming up with the outline. We actually talked to some engineers who gave us an estimate of where we could increase. One of the things on the plate is that cost that I gave you is with the design to have a pumping station, because the design is built to have them come through the front of Route 3, so all the way up to the park. That pump alone is $160,000. So
Are you looking at going the other way?
we are now.
Okay, because, yeah.
They
all
weren't
right.
able to gain an easement access from a previous owner, but Joyce was kind enough to let us in on it. That has since changed hands, so I'm hoping
Yes.
with the right approach. That's a huge savings to the
Yeah.
project. if they-
He approached me.
Oh, great.
That was, several times. Joe has said that, yeah, please.
Oh, well, that's great. That's great news then. But, yeah, so I think they're ready to go, and I told them it's not a slow process, it's a long process. These are just baby steps, but I think once, you know, they can put that application in and proceed to get some of the other funding options, it'll open up, you know. Like I said, we manage it very well. We've done, right now, the Community Loan Fund is currently working with 10 other co-ops on projects, so this is something that we do all the time.
Yep.
This is going to be similar for us as the White Rock project.
Right.
Correct.
Well, I think the consensus is we're on board.
Yes. And like I told you earlier, and I mean it in all sincerity, when they come up with plans that they want to discuss and see what the feasibility is, call Gus and get on the planning board schedule. You can come in conceptually, there's no cost involved, but, you'll be able to talk with the group that's going to hear any case that would come before them, should you end up, wanting to site plan something or something of that nature. But they can certainly go over the zoning with you and, what would be required, what would have to happen, and, it hopefully would give you a lot of answers. And either let you know, well, we're going the right direction, or we need to make a left or something, so. But that's always there, and I know the board is very willing to talk to anyone, so.
Any more questions from anyone? No?
Do you all have any questions?
That's the owner of the home, where we would have to get that easement?
Yes.
The family owns this, well, there's 2 houses, 1 burn.
Yeah. Do you want to step aside with him? Take
I can give them your number?
Yeah, that's great. That'll be
Okay.
excellent.
I will be seeing them soon.
And we did have a conversation downstairs about, that I think this town has great resources in place, and that perfectly, it seems like there's a door of opportunity opening for them, that you can come and get all the research, information you need is right here, so. I really appreciate your time tonight.
We'll help in any way we can.
Yes, we will.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
Oh, very nice to meet you.
Yes, she does.
Very nice to meet you, too.
Very nice.
luck
I'll go
with it.
there.
Yeah, thanks again for all your
Guys
help.
make your quite.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
No problem.
Yep.
This was so much more like Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Nice meeting you, too. Really nice meeting you. She's going to talk to you for a second if she can.
All right, so we'll keep.
I'll make copies of this. She gave me what their overview, what their options are, what their hopes or dreams, and I'll make copies and make sure the rest of the board gets it.
Excellent.
Okay? I'll do it right now. They're still.
Joyce.
I'm all done unless you want to talk more about Smith. One of the things that when I was talking with Lynn Booth earlier with her, she was the one that suggested, why don't you go to this mobile home park, see if you're taking any for tax deeds, if they'd be willing to accept her. And then we could get, contact like Habitat for Humanity, see if they can go in and rehab, because some of these are like pretty crappy. Because you can't move her into something that isn't up to code.
Okay. Set the camera on, so.
So it just sounds like it's going to be a process.
Maybe we can talk about it after, because we haven't come to a decision on that, but we don't need to come to a decision until next week.
Yeah, the one thing I'm getting a little nervous and jerky about is because I'm due to go on vacation, not next week, but the week after. So I've got to get like all the deed letters ready. There's a lot, and I've got to do, because July 1 is we do changes of...
We're going to ride around, Sandy and I are going to ride around tomorrow.
Okay.
And take pictures.
Okay.
And, say yes, no, whatever.
Okay, I mean, I can have all the letters prepared, and then the ones
What do
that
you
want...
teach, phys ed?
Just give it to...
Huh?
You teach phys ed?
Oh, they have to give tests too.
But they're in July 1, we got to make some payroll changes because of retirement and the health insurance.
Jim.
So,
Hey, I thought your name was Peter all this time.
so
The conversation's disintegrating right from the start.
it was funny when I was talking with Tim. Is this going on camera? Can they hear this?
Joe, you want to hit the camera for 2 seconds and we'll just take a 5-minute?
Okay. In the interest of energy savings, although we're not busy.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to tell you is I still have to call the doctor.
Okay.
Is this non-public or public? Okay. All right, we're back.
Are we really missing all of those approved minutes?
They're in here.
Those are little short meetings.
Oh, okay.
They're like 2 paragraphs. Remember Monday meetings?
All right. I have a letter from a resident, which we always read, so.
You want me to ask her to go downstairs?
To whom it may concern, Selectmen of Tilton. On Sunday at the intersection near Smoke and Barley, I was involved in an accident with a motorcyclist. Just to let you know, that's a bad intersection. Cars are passing on the left, which makes it almost impossible to get out of there. Something has to be done, and soon. A set of lights would be great before someone gets killed there. Please don't wait until this happens. I am surprised there hasn't been a lawsuit against the town of Tilton for negligence there. Don't let this happen. Please. Thank you. Mrs. Doris Bressie? Could we send her a letter and update her on what the steps we've taken to try to correct this situation, and let her know that we'll keep her updated as we get information pertaining to the intersection of Silver Lake Road and Route 3? Okay. Driveway permit. There's a public hearing in here that we need to do.
Damn.
Notice a public hearing for the Samerton Planning Board, June 20th at 7:20. The application request for planning board approval of site plan under site plan review regulations and granting of conditional use permit is provided in Article 4, Section G of the Samerton zoning ordinance. This is the cell tower.
Yep.
At 516 Steel Hill Road, tax map 4, lot 63. And then we have, same night, at 7:15 p.m. is another cell tower located on 173 Brook Road, map 20, lot 19. This is the Forest Conservation Zoning District.
Dinner for the citizens of the year. It's not a dinner. But
No, it's, the selectmen are invited. We have an email from Selectman Peg Shepherd asking if the asking to invite the selectmen of Tilton to Citizen of the Year Award Monday night. Are we all available?
Well, I regret that I have something I can't get out of on Monday night in Belmont.
It's at 6 p.m. at the Pines.
So is my other meeting, unfortunately. That's the one I told you I was going to be at the, I was going to be at the Belmont Selectmen's meeting to talk about Lakes Region Public Access. That's at 6 o'clock on Monday.
Cindy, can you be available?
I think I can, yes.
Okay, do you gonna go to Citizen of the Year Monday night? It's at the Pines at 6 p.m.
I will try to.
Okay. I'll try to. I have a guest from out of state, but I'll try to accompany
Yeah, bring her.
with her.
Yeah, bring her with you.
Okay. All right, Joyce, here.
I have some dispositions in basements. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. These are housekeeping. Reading or just remarks, reasons for abatement. last one, we discovered the people from Public Service Company that were doing information for their bank.
Yep.
And while Lauren was here, it was really good. They were able to discover that we have been taxing them for a parcel that PSNH no longer owns. We had them using a PSNH right-of-way value, but that property is owned by the state of New Hampshire.
Okay.
And all the documentation is in their file. That one's on the side. And Lauren said that in the file, going back, there had been letters from PSNH notifying the town that they were no longer to be taxed for that value, because if it wasn't a separate tax card, it was just we had value.
Right.
So she was finally able to catch that.
Good.
And then this is a veterans tax credit that was denied.
Why?
Are there any taxes due on any of these
Any taxes due?
so that the abatement could be applied to them?
What this will do, because it's for this year tax bill, it just will, the change will be reflected in their December bill.
So there's no past due from previous years?
I don't know, if we had past due for previous, all this will do is correct what their 2013 bill should be.
But if there's an amount due, it can be applied to taxes owed.
But then it wouldn't change the,
They're getting an this individual's getting an abatement.
yeah.
If they owe back taxes, why wouldn't we apply the abatement to those taxes?
I have the same question.
Because there's no, the abatement is reducing the value for 2013. Nothing has been paid for 2013. So you're telling Cindy, collect this amount of money for 2013, and what we're doing by doing an abatement is don't collect that money for 2013. Because the first issue bill...
That's not what this says.
Estimated, no.
This is an abatement application, a new abatement.
But it's reducing the amount of taxes that have to be raised for 2015. So that when they get their official 2013,
The 2012 bill.
oh, that's a 2012?
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they have gotten their,
Sorry, I'm probably looking at the wrong...
no, they have, 2013, they have gotten their first bill. It's due in July.
Yeah,
The final bill will go out in December.
right. The final bill will be the correct bill.
We're not sending anyone a check.
No,
Okay.
no. No, we're just telling the tax collector to collect a less amount for 2013.
Why wouldn't that be done through a warrant?
Because we're correcting, the only way to correct what Cindy has to collect
That's through the abatement
is
process?
the abatement process.
So we have to give ourselves money?
No. It's the only way you can reduce the amount being collected.
Oh,
Because it will,
Yeah, absolutely, I totally agree with you. It shouldn't have a name on it. I just was,
Oops.
I'm sorry. Put that on there.
Yep. Yep.
Good for safety.
What is it?
You know, I object to this reasoning, why this is denied. This is a veterans.
Because he's not living there. He lives there.
It just said, no, that's not what it says. Doesn't say he doesn't live there. It says mail delivered to Revere, Mass. And phone numbers left are Massachusetts.
that's her explanation of proof,
Right.
that it
My
goes to
father
Massachusetts.
is a resident of the town of Tilton. His mailing address, one of them, his mail is Naples, Florida, unless it's magazines and stuff, but his official mail goes to Florida. His telephone number listed for James W. Dodge is a Naples, Florida number. And his private cell phone, his private cell phone for his private use is here. But this is not, for me, criteria. I'm not going to sign that.
When he
Catherine?
gets his,
Your father has a cell phone?
My father has a cell phone, I know it wasn't a freaky thing.
he has an opportunity to appeal that decision, so if he gets a copy of that,
I think when somebody applies for a veteran's credit, or any kind of credit like that, disability, elderly, we should give it a little bit more due diligence than their mail goes to another state and their phone number is in another state, because there's a lot of reasons for that.
Lois, can I ask a question? On these paid time off requests, I'm assuming that each person that does one of these goes in and looks at the calendar and makes sure that the rest of the town hall isn't on vacation that week?
seen this. I talked to him in the copy room.
I mean, I have no problem signing, I just wondered it when I...
Mentioned about that won't be a problem.
It's not a problem? But I mean, is that what people are doing when they decide to take a vacation? Make sure that everybody in the town hall
Well,
isn't...
they're supposed to go and look at the chart,
Right.
but I know with Tim and Catherine and I, we all tell each other.
Yeah.
I'm off that weekend, I think,
You're off this week, too?
The week.
weekend, the 3rd. I'm off the 3rd.
Oh, okay.
You're off the 3rd through the,
Right, remember.
I'll be back on Monday.
Schedule my surgery for Friday.
4th and the 5th, excuse me.
so
I'll be here the 5th.
Oh, I see, it Monday. When is the actual holiday here? Is the 4th?
Yes.
So you're taking 3rd, 4th, and 5th?
The 4th and the 5th, not the 3rd, excuse me.
Okay, 4th and 5th. So it's you and Catherine. It's you and Cindy and Kim.
Because didn't we sign one, we just signed something for Gus to ask for some time off, too.
Right.
Anyway, maybe it's
Can we send a
time.
little memo out to the staff at Town Hall? Be reminded that when they take vacation time, that please look at the calendar downstairs. Just,
And
you
you're
know, to
off
double,
so that-
just a reminder to double check the calendar downstairs. In this case, I'm around, so I can come in and help answer phones, that's not a problem.
We just don't want everybody to be gone, and,
I don't have a problem with that, that's a big major weekend.
yeah.
A lot of people aren't going to be in there.
I didn't know.
4th of July?
Yeah.
He just put that in 2 minutes before I was coming upstairs. He said
Yeah.
it could be signfolded and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you need a ride or anything, you let me know.
Yeah. Yep. Well, let us know.
We'll take you up on it.
We'll get you.
We'll make you giggle all the way, make you
Yeah.
giggle all the way home.
This is Concord?
No, because they do it right in the
Oh,
medical,
okay, and that's in Concord then.
there's yesterday.
Yep.
I could represent them at the hospital, but they do them there every Friday.
Yep, no, that's fine.
Who charts the paid time off?
The PD does for the PD.
We had some of them at times, I mean, we're halfway through the year and,
They take it, they usually do July, August,
well,
Catherine.
yeah, but I'm just saying, we've got
Yeah.
one that's almost into 5 weeks.
Yep. A couple of them are like that.
Which one? Let me see, because there's a buyout that usually takes. Yeah, he does a buyout.
But if he uses it, he shouldn't have to.
He doesn't use it because it's so much. I mean, he's way, way up there. It's-
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Just an update on the Ernie's cleanup project. Catherine, I had emailed Rick Vandenberg to do a personal reply to Kathy Mitchell, and he called me back, I think it was on either Monday or Tuesday, and I haven't had a chance to call him back. He's got the message. And then with the May invoice, it says a couple of things regarding our plans for next steps. Rick is still working on the insurance claim request. Once that is straightened out, we'll have a change order for the additional soil removal, approximately 100 additional tons in the lift area. That will be in the $6,000 to $7,000 range. I am working on a budget to complete the rest of the project, i.e. soil covering, kayak launch, trail, parking lot, etc. I had a favorable meeting with CRDC last week, and they would consider a request for additional grant funds. Once I can figure out how much I think we need, we can help you with the sub-grant application to CRDC. We would also need to figure out how we meet the 20%. That's it. Call me if you have any questions. That's where we're at this week. And then I had sent Pat an email earlier just to remind the board that if you're meeting on the 20th, if you could take up the co-op contract
Yes.
on the 20th. Joe?
Pardon me?
Co-op, that the set time aside on the meeting of the 20th so they can make their decision on whether or not to enter the co-op agreement. And then we've received a couple of newspaper articles that both Laconia and Guilford have renewed with the co-op. Oh, and then Catherine Dawson had reminded me I'm to do a letter to the Tilton Selectmen about meeting again.
Yep.
Now, am I supposed to give them the dates that you're available? Because I know, they know the Wednesdays. They usually meet on Wednesdays at 4, but you've got on certain Wednesdays.
Wednesdays are...
Well, but
budget meeting.
we went to their selectmen's meeting, so we'd be
Yeah,
inviting
they can
them
come
to
to our
our selectmen's meeting.
So give them some dates. What any Thursday? Just say any Thursday.
Next week's pretty full.
How about the week after? The Thursday after?
27th on.
Yeah.
The taxes are current.
Well, we can do them at 4 o'clock if you want.
They're usually, well, some of them work, though. The earliest that they can get here would be good.
Yeah. That way, you know, that if they don't want to hang around for the whole meeting, they don't have to.
Right.
And the last thing I have is...
Should we mention in the letter the topic of conversation? Are we going to continue to discussing fire and emergency services for those ends of town, ours and theirs?
And also, I think we should add highway and invite Dennis.
Dennis, yes,
Because they were interested in maybe doing something along those lines.
So that way Dennis could be thinking about it, and if we're going to continue the fire discussion, we should do the courtesy of notifying the fire commissioners and allowing them to come as well and take part in that conversation.
Right.
They had quite a conversation on that last night, and they're sending us a letter.
I can hardly wait.
Commissioner Clark still believes that we should stay out of it, and that they are the sole governing body
Yeah.
for...
The fire district, we're the
Fire
governing body
district.
for Tilton. That's just like when they closed Winnisquam. They did not allow the Tilton Board of Selectmen to participate in that closure, and we lost all of those monies that Tilton spent to support that fire station. We weren't even, I mean, it was ridiculous. And I was the one who asked specifically, when are you meeting? Well, you know, then I'd read about it in the paper. So, of course, it wasn't these fire commissioners, but...
And then we had received an email from Food Trucks to Go, Division of Food Truck Festivals, requesting if they would, instead of... Should I help this?
No.
Instead of having each truck pay the $50 coffee and peppers fee, would it be possible that we consider a group rate?
Food Trucks to Go, where are they having this? I think I talked to this person.
I think it went to the whole board.
Yes. Yep, it's in your email.
You didn't get it, so it was sent to Board of Selectmen.
You know, I was
Copied
so
Selectmen endorsement.
busy yesterday and today that I didn't really look at emails except for some specific that I was expecting.
I think it's, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Please don't shoot the messenger. I think it's something worthwhile looking into. I am not a proponent of group rate, although I do feel that our hawkers and peddlers license fee, monthly fee, is exceptionally high considering the surrounding towns. And if we look at the spirit of hawkers and peddlers and what you want it to do, we can do that without gouging the person that's trying to get the hawkers and peddlers. And particularly those that come back month after month for 3 months in the summer, and, you know, that's $150. So they have to sell more than $150 in product to be able to make it sustainable, make it break even, not even sustainable. It has to be worth their while. So I would be in favor of trying to adjust the cost of the hawkers and peddlers or accommodating those that have multiple months. I'm not so much in favor of a group rate, but take it as like a monthly.
I'd be more inclined to look at the group rate, because if you have an organization like this that's going to be, some one person is organizing them, they're going to all be in one place, less to police, less worry, less time, less cost. And I would be more inclined to look at the group rate. I think our monthly rate is probably where it should be. Maybe it's a little high, I don't know, but
You figure people that are selling hot dogs, you know how many hot dogs you have to make up $50 worth of hot dogs to break even? Look at the craft person that, you know, that sells and resells their neighbors or whatever. They have to really
They sell their neighbors?
I was wondering
products.
about that one.
And sometimes, you know, you get in, wait a minute, and sometimes you get into situations where it would count as a hawkers and peddlers is where you have a farmer's market and one person has a table and they're actually 4 farmers or 4 people. Well, that person is not actually the fruits of their own labor. So they would constitute as a hawkers and peddlers. So now you have, do you know how many of those little people that you have to get to make up that $50?
But yet those people, year after year, knowing what our rates are because they're repeaters, come in and get a hawkers and peddlers license, knowing what the cost is.
Go ahead, Peter, you had something to say.
Yeah, a couple points. Last year, there was a certain hot dog cart at Tanger that had to pay the fee monthly, I believe. Meanwhile, the seafood trolley paid nothing on the Wednesdays that it showed up, whichever day you had. The second point would be, if you're a business in town, you're somehow paying property tax indirectly through rent, or if you own the building, so that you're supporting the town. If you've got a trailer cart vehicle you're bringing into town, how are you helping out on the tax base? To me, the fee is one way to help offset some of the costs. If someone coming to sell hot dogs can be competing with Lakes Region Cupcakes, who's paying rent for that storefront, so they're paying something.
Is this a different one?
The town does read property tax
I
on it.
signed it, didn't I? Yeah, I signed it.
It hasn't changed any with the hawkers and peddlers as far as the requirement is concerned. If that hot dog vendor were at Tanger today, the hot dog vendor still would have to pay the hawkers and peddlers.
So than the seafood vendor.
Right.
By definition of the RSA.
The seafood vendor was part of the farmer's market.
We don't,
But
we
they
don't,
weren't selling their wares, they bought
Right.
fish from somewhere.
but we don't have anyone that goes out looking for hawkers and peddlers that haven't gotten permits, unless somebody reports them.
But if you have a farmer's market, you should have an idea, especially when the health officer and code enforcement officer would drive past it on their way home. At
Good
that
point.
location.
We all drive past it, but,
I know last year, another individual that tried starting out, didn't take long for them to find him not having his license.
oh, we catch a lot of them. And a lot of them decide not to hawk and peddle in Tilton.
When we know,
I think
at
that
least
we're
when I
talking-
know that somebody is subject to that, I always push it.
I think that we're talking about two different things here. You have bakers, you have,
Yeah, but the fish guy didn't fall into that, unless he caught that fish.
right. But
So-
more, let me finish what I'm saying, please. According to the standards in the farmer's market, it's greater than 75% of what they make. And that vendor actually fell into that category,
Fish guy.
That's not
the
the
farmer's
law.
market.
That is the New Hampshire Farmers Market Association standards. Got
It-
nothing to do with state or town ordinances and laws.
I got that not from the New Hampshire Farmers Market Association. I got that from, I can't think of her first name, last name's McWilliam Jelly, the director of the agricultural, who heads up farmers markets under the state.
That's
So
New Hampshire.
that's where
So the
I
fish
got
guy
that from.
qualifies
Doesn't
to
come
not
from
have.
statute or ordinance.
Well, I'm telling you, that's where I got it from. And as an administrator of farmers markets, that's exactly what I used as a criteria for farmers markets. Now, if you leased a space, actually leased a space with outside of, as an individual, selling hot dogs on a corner or whatever, then that's a whole different situation. It's not anything to do with that.
So if you lease a space, do you pay hawkers and peddlers?
Yes.
Yes. They leased a space from Tanger.
Correct.
Right.
But the-
Well, that hot dog vendor was not the only one.
No. But the trolley one was also selling hot dogs
They
directly.
did not lease a space from Tanger.
Doesn't matter if you lease or you got just permission to sit there. If you're hawking and peddling and you fall within the statute, you got to pay the fee. Let's move on. We have all stated several times in the past few weeks that we're going to look at our hawkers and peddlers, especially since the class we went to,
Right.
and that's what we should do.
Yep.
How do you want to respond to this person's inquiry?
What's her event?
Their event is in June, right?
I don't have
But you've got
Oh, I
the
got
email
it.
right there.
Last April.
Oh, he has another one coming up.
I know. But it's the only date I can identify. We understand, greatly appreciate. I don't see that it has a date.
Excuse me. Can I see it?
Hold on.
She just wants a date.
It's
I
in
would
your-
like to see it
it's-
when you're
You
done.
did get an email.
Oh, there's a copy of the...
That
Huh?
also sent a picture of their setup.
They're not giving a date. They said that based on the success of that event, the Tanger outlets in Tilton would like to organize a similar one with 10 to 20 food trucks that would vend to the public. that would be a great opportunity, so on. So it's not really a date. I think I would send a reply back and thank him for sending in his note. We can get back to him, the board will meet on it and take into consideration. We're now looking at the different aspects of the hawkers and peddlers license, something to that effect. And then just say we'll take it under consideration and get back to him. I mean, that's exactly what we're doing. After the class, we did say we would.
Does that go in the FYI, or does that go to Joyce?
No, that,
Where we got it. Joe, I think you have one in your email.
yep.
On what?
Food truck. It's under food trucks to go.
I don't have that one.
It
The
said,
only Sandy Plessner one I've got is about...
no, it's not Sandy Plessner, it's
Oh.
food trucks to go on June 12th.
To Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, it says send it to Board of Selectmen.
Food demo?
12.
No.
June 12th.
Joyce, this letter in here about the accident that took place at Silver Lake Road,
We asked to have a letter sent back.
Route 3, can we forward this on to wherever our request to deal with that intersection is? I don't know who has it.
Lambert.
He still has
I get it.
it? You
find it?
Yeah, I found
He's kind of overseeing
He's
it.
the,
Got it now?
Yep, I sure do.
was Jeannie Forrester involved in that?
Yep.
We should probably send it on to her. With a cover letter that explains why we're sending it to him?
We should send it on to that, who was the other one with Mr. Lambert, the one that was
I'd send it on to the commissioner.
commissioner,
Yeah.
and let it filter down. Great idea.
This paper one. See what public time?
No idea. I'm not there yet. All right. Okay. While we're here, did you need to speak with us? Okay. No, not really, but we'll take you. We're just going to wait a minute, so we'll be glad to take you. Check them for guns, please.
You didn't hear the metal detector go off when I came up? A few questions on recycling.
Okay.
Who gets a bin?
Residents.
Residents.
Every residential unit.
Commercial
If you're an apartment,
properties.
you get a bin. If you're a trailer, you get a bin. If you're a house, you get a bin if you've got one address.
Okay,
If you're a business, you get a bin.
okay. 2 detached dwellings, same lot, how many bins?
2 bins.
Well, are they both dwelling units?
Yes,
Officially,
because you skipped one. My tenant.
if it's an official thing,
She's 18 Crystal, I'm 20 Ruby.
she should get a bin.
Okay.
Not everybody got the bins. Anybody who didn't get a bin should call.
Okay.
We have a list,
Yeah,
but they delivered in your nneighborhood, so you probably got missed inadvertently. Call
everyone else seemed to have gotten this, that was why I was asking.
inadvertent. It was certainly an oversight as opposed to just skipping that.
What?
What was the name of was it Crystal Lane or Ruby Lane?
18 Crystal.
18 Crystal, okay, probably because I don't have an 18 Crystal.
What's that based off of? Are you doing tax?
Yeah, this is our assessing. I've got,
Because
What does it
tail end
say?
of Emerald has 2 dwellings, 1 lot, and they both got barrels.
What is 911?
That would be official.
What does the 911 addressing show?
are they shown on Ruby?
No, it's Crystal.
All right, these are the numbers I have. I have 14 Crystal, 20 Crystal, 30 Crystal, 32 Crystal, 44. There's two on 44. One is a colonial and one is a camp.
What was
Camp
that?
did not get one.
You had what, 10?
20.
Before 20. What were the ones before 20?
14, did you say?
14, yeah.
14, 20, 30.
I think 14 is the previous one, so you didn't have it listed.
14 received one.
Yeah, but
I
18.
can't remember, yeah, she 18, I forget her number. I know she's Crystal.
Okay, and then 20
Yeah,
got
18
one.
may be correct. It's 20,
Okay,
UPS and FedEx think it's
30
really
Crystal was missed. 32 got one, 44 got one. They may have missed a camp.
So you need one at 18 Crystal.
Yeah.
Okay, but we
Okay.
have no address of 18 Crystal.
And we'll call and give her the name.
Well,
then
another comment would be is if the
What is-
idea is to reduce,
What is 911? Does 911 list it as an address? Pardon?
I will look. I'm looking now.
because if the idea is to reduce solid waste, I would think more bins, like a multiple, like an apartment complex, 6 units, give them the 6 bins.
We did not sit here for hours and think about,
I'm not,
this one gets it and this one doesn't get it. They went out.
Anybody that didn't get their bin, it was inadvertent.
Right, right. Yeah,
We're still endeavoring to get the
they're
bin.
keeping track and then they're going out because they have to order more.
Okay.
Right, that, yeah.
To follow up with your letter about the intersection of Silver Lake Road and Route 3, can I back up a couple miles to the intersection of Manville and Route 3?
Bring it on.
Okay? We've had our first yard sale. He's blocking off about half the distance we need.
They had sawhorses and no parking signs out front when I went by.
Well, if you look at stopping distance, there's not enough time to stop. Tied in with that, my neighbor got rear-ended there last week, slowing down to make the turn. Is there any way to discuss with DOT of keeping it 35 till you pass Manville and then put the 40 there as opposed to at just past Home Depot?
We can certainly ask them. They've been less than responsive to our requests in the past, but by all means, we
He's meeting with them next week, though.
Maybe if we can find from, say, the PD accident reports showing data.
Now, I think that's a good point, because we're not asking them to change this, we're not asking them to, it's not a grave distance that we're asking them to change it. It's just a few hundred feet.
Right.
Hey, I agree, they should just move the sign or whatever,
They won't just move the sign without a study.
Right.
Right.
but it's been my
So we
experience
need
that
to
they don't haphazardly just move those signs.
Is what, Joyce?
We need to have the
Even when they
chief
say they will.
put the speed thing down there. So
Okay.
So I'll have to look into it.
So can we get a bin to 18 Crystal Lane, then?
Yep.
Thank you.
We'll have to see.
we should have the chief
Right.
It is
put the
on
sign
your
down there.
Go to 20 Ruby Lane, second dwelling.
So how many bins did you get?
My rental unit.
We should have
It's all
the
whatever the tax.
chief put the speed sign
2259
down
or whatever it is.
Yep.
to start to get a study done.
Apparently, it's not being
That would
assessed
be
as a
good
separate
information
unit.
to send with the
Let's have one
request.
conversation.
I understand.
I was continuing the first.
I
Around
know.
the corner, you had two.
They interrupted, so.
Parcel, got 2 bins. That's why I was wondering.
After
near me.
this, you can go over, it, you can give me the addresses so I can make notes.
The only one I'm here for is the 18.
That's the one. He just said it.
All right, hold that thought. Okay, 18 needs a recycling. Got it? All right, now let's move on to Manville Road.
Also tied in with the yard sales, now that they don't park out on Route 3, they're parking on Manville between the railroad and Route 3, which is making that a hazard.
So now you can't make the turn.
Well, like I
Are they
had one
back
day,
from
I'm
the
trying to pull-
intersection?
Well, I was trying to pull on a guy stopping, waiting for someone else to pull out, and everyone's just at a standstill. And you can't get two-way traffic without coming close to Cliff and Mary.
There's gotta be something done.
How,
He's
but
got the parking lot of this.
how close to the intersection were they parking on Manville?
Just before the stop sign.
But he had, I thought he had barricades up along Manville.
In the front.
In the front.
Just to enter his
So we
shop.
just need to ask him to extend his
Extend the
barricade.
barricade.
They're parking on both sides of Manville, coming in and going out, so
So where do you expect them to stop for the yard sale?
Well, he has
well,
parking
if they park
behind.
on the north side of Route 3, I have sight distance, I won't get clocked trying to pull up.
But then the
And then they have to
pedestrians
walk-
across
and then they-
Route 3 to get to the yard sale?
They have to cross Manville and Route
If
3?
they cross the railroad tracks, you could probably get a half dozen cars easily in that gravel area.
And you want
He
them
has
to,
a parking area right in front of his garage.
Yeah. If they get off the road.
2 or 3.
So it,
so you're asking them to
for me.
pull in and back out onto Route 3?
no, his garage is on Manville.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
okay.
the only thing that we can do is ask them to move the barricade from the intersection of Route 3 and, add a barricade, so there's no parking on
Can't
Manville.
create a nuisance by having cars parked in the road.
Well, you can't, I have people park up and down Route 3 if my goats are in the front yard. Am I supposed to
that's-
go out there and say, get out of here?
You're not
You
Is
can't.
that an everyday occurrence?
No, it's weak.
And you're not responsible for that.
You know,
They're my goats, aren't they? It's weekly, but that's the
That's
point.
on them.
The yard sale down here with Masonic Temple, they put signs right out on West Main, no parking, police
Right.
order.
yeah, but you know what? The ones across the high school,
They
that's a
don't.
jam.
Yeah.
The ones across the high school, there's 3 families there, and, they pile up. If all 3 families participate in the yard sale, you can get by if you're going towards Franklin, but coming back the other way, you just pray that there's not a car coming towards Franklin, and you can skip around them, but you can't, 3 cars can't fit on that road.
I think we are justified in asking them to add barricades so that cars don't park
Yeah.
in that.
You can't
Line
ask
of
them to
sight
go someplace else,
intersection.
because then we'll require hawkers and peddlers. I mean, it's just
No,
never
because
ending.
used and antique items don't require a vendor permit.
Antique items.
Antique items.
And used.
And
Now
used.
that you brought that up, Madam Chair.
I thought it said just antique.
Half the people there do not live there that are doing the yard sale.
Yeah, but it's
multiple
used,
families doing it there.
but it's used items.
It's used items.
According to the guy at our class, used or antiqued items did not need a hack.
That's what the Secretary of State said.
What does it say in the RSA?
I can sell them, then it's used, I don't have to get it.
Yeah,
You try it.
try it. I don't know how many you'll sell that way, but
There are certain restrictions on, exemptions from hawkers and peddlers, used and antique,
Yeah.
farmer's market, what's the other one? Religious, nonprofit, religious and nonprofit.
I'm just waiting, we've had, a couple of years ago, someone got T-boned trying to come out on one of those yard sales. It's,
I went up I saw the barricades, and I'd said, wow, it might be working.
Well, if you pull out the charts, I think the distance you need is about back to the pole just before his driveway. Because they're coming, even though it's posted 40, if it's open, they're going 50, 55. And the problem we have is with all this rain, we've got gravel across the pavement, so when we start out, we're spinning on the gravel on the pavement. So we have a slight hesitation.
Should we ask the chief to ask them to, or have an officer go out and ask them to just extend the barricade up so cars don't park?
They can't block the
Between
road.
Manville and Route 311?
Or tell them if they parked on the lawn, left the gravel shoulder so we can see.
Right.
The problem is when you're in the gravel shoulder, now you have to have your nose out under the pavement.
Well, there needs to be a distance, I don't know what it is,
Just what
that
they
a car
do.
should be not able to park from the intersection. I don't know if that's 30 feet, 20 feet, whatever feet.
Because what they'll do is they set the tables close to the road. If they backed him up, they'd have room on his front lawn to do some parking.
I think we're good with them not parking on the front lawn.
Well, and you can see the skid marks from the car that, the Explorer that hit my neighbor, because he wasn't paying attention. There was no braking, nothing. 3M. Should I say Lake Manville? The catch basin plans.
We need to work out an agreement with the property that's diagonally across from that intersection. The culvert, for some reason, ends, according to the property owner, in an inappropriate, unpleasant place on his property. The study is going to have to be done. We'll have to look at the old subdivision to figure out why that would do that. Typically, I haven't seen that in any other development in
No.
town.
I thought we got that resolved last week.
No.
We have an easement across there?
No.
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 So we'll have to find out what went wrong, why that culvert ends where it does. It doesn't make sense to me.
In the short term, what about a line catch basin, put some oil absorbing pads in the bottom of it? You know, no bottom, crushed down, 2 sections of manhole with a grate on top. That way the water goes in and it just burns.
Isn't there, there's a catch basin there now, right?
Yes, what's happened is...
What is a blind catch basin?
You don't put the catch basin bottom in.
So it is allowed to absorb into the...
perk down through, that's
Okay.
why I said put the oil absorbing pads on top of your crushed stone, so any oil, whatever that goes in, sticks to those pads, which you can get thin ones that are like a heavy paper towel that you'd have to replace, you know, monthly or quarterly. You would just periodically have to look down in the manhole and just swap them out. I put one in my driveway to alleviate the spring flooding into the lower part of my house, and even in the dead of winter, because you're down, you know, 4 to 5 feet, it doesn't freeze, so when you get that midwinter thaw, the water is able to perk out, and I don't have a puddle like I used to.
It's definitely something to research.
Yep.
And it saves you having to deal with Mr. Chase on the other side.
Right. Is that it?
One other thing, years ago I had asked about the traffic lights here at the bridge. In your talks with DOT, can you ask them if the light is set via traffic count or a timer? Because they can set it either way. And
Right.
my guess is it's on a timer.
It's a timer. It's a timer, 18
timer.
seconds.
Yeah, it is a timer, we know
Well,
that.
why is the timer set so that Park Street is never stacked, but all afternoon, Main and West Main is stacked for...
Depends on the time you go through.
Right, it depends on the time, and they took the busiest time on Main, West.
But
They took the busiest time on, and it was stacked up way worse than what it was.
I
And
think the timer is favoring Park.
I think it is now, too.
Yeah.
They
That may need to be looked at
they decreased it by 5 seconds.
What, the Park Street side?
No, the Main Street side.
Oh, yeah, and Main Street should have the longer time. You look at the way, you know, when I'm coming home from school, it doesn't matter if I'm coming home at 3, 3:30, 4, 5.
Because the traffic was blocked up almost to the high school.
Yeah,
I was in traffic that was blocked up past the high school.
Right.
Because I actually went through the high school parking lot.
I would never sit in Route 3 traffic.
I
I
went
know
by
the
my
way
way.
around.
I ended up on
Next
Winter
act I
Street.
do like everyone else, and we go up.
Go up,
hill and
go up
down.
Cedar, yeah.
Because-
Sure, everybody goes up Cedar.
I thought there was an accident.
Right.
I'm like, wow, what's going on? There's an accident. And then I realized it's
But it
light.
has improved somewhat since they changed the timing on it.
I go up
Going
Winter
Main Street, but if you're saying that Park Street now is
Yeah.
backed up, it's,
No, whenever I'm coming by, Park Street's always cleared.
but you know why? Because I think it's triggered on this end of Park Street, triggers it if you go on
I
this
don't know.
side.
But
we gotta figure that out.
But
I know
if it's-
east-west
if it's
is-
staying, you know,
East-west
you
is
never-
on a timer, we know that.
If you never clear either side of Main, but you're always clearing Park, then their timing's way off. You know,
East-
never
yeah.
clear Main, but there should be a little stacking.
Route 3 is definitely the busiest.
Yep.
Yeah,
And that should be, it should be
Priority.
favoring that.
yes.
Because you know what it is you get the trucks,
Yep.
you know, and they start up and lunge forward a few feet.
It's like if you're not past the driveway to Cropsy's place coming around the corner, you know you've got another cycle to wait.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Just a thought.
All right.
I think that's all I had.
Okay, I have one thought.
Yeah.
Under our new business agenda, we want to pick a date to meet with the sewer commissioners and the water commissioners and the selectmen concerning special details and the cost of special details.
And the need
And
thereof.
the need of details. Where, how, what.
You're gonna have us all on the same,
Do you want,
wow,
do
you may need the fire there, because sparks may fly.
well, I'm thinking that you should just send Johanna and leave
I might
you
have
leave
to.
you at home. We'll have it during the day, so you have to, okay?
I might bring up,
Oh, no, school's out soon.
I might be bringing up hydrants or something.
Are you willing to sit down and if we pick a date and get you guys together and, okay.
You want the full commission or just representation?
Yeah, it really doesn't,
Up to you guys.
it's up to you guys. We want your input, that's for sure.
That's fine.
So whether it's Johanna or you or whatever, we want your input. Okay. That's what I needed to know.
We'll make
That
some
means I have to
arrangements.
do projects now, huh? Or repairs, but that's usually the,
Hey, while you're here,
Well, it's repairs too, right?
while you're here,
yeah.
what is your time frame? And I know this is going to be just a dark time frame of putting sewer in on West Main. Ten years, 5 years, 20 years, never.
Well, I guess the first thing would be is to maybe do a survey from the town, see if they're willing to bond it. We can do it easy enough. So you have basically town line to just before the high school, that whole strip. This is the other thing while we're at it. I could look possibly going up Clark. The problem is, I'm not sure how soon we hit ledge going up there.
Not very
I
far.
was gonna say, because that's where the cost comes
Yeah.
in, is
Yeah.
when you hit ledge.
What do you estimate
Get
for?
main blasting over here.
The last time you looked at it, what was the estimate going up further
On West Main,
on West Main?
your best bet is to ask Johanna to check the files, I can't remember. We'd be putting in probably just one pump station somewhere right around this side of the brook at the highway garage. And the original plans, I think it was on the Public Works side. I'm not sure then if we came all the way up here or not, but I think we could probably still gravity it all to that one.
We pump the town garage monthly. And the amount of money we've spent pumping that town garage for 12 years now,
It's been that long?
we'll probably have paid for 2 septic systems.
Yep.
Well, they're not that far. What if we went, they've already got a line across the street and go down and hook up at Lapines?
Well, but
But we got a pump to get to it, I believe.
To go down to
that little
Lapines?
brook, that brook crossing was,
Maybe not the highway garage, but if you're talking anything else. The problem we have is with the brook, that crossing.
and it wouldn't make
We're talking the
sense.
highway garage, and it really wouldn't make sense if the few that are left on the line wouldn't
No.
benefit from it.
That's why if we did the whole thing, then we can say we've connected.
Right, to the line, right.
West
Well, it
Main.
makes those properties down there more valuable for development, just
Correct.
more.
Yep.
Yep.
But if, it's not something you're considering for 10 or 20 years, we may want to
I wouldn't say 10
consider,
or 20 years.
put it in a septic system,
No, we can.
save the money.
We can start looking at it, and I can bring it up the next meeting, find out, try to get budget stuff for next March, just get the feel of the
Townspeople.
town.
That would be great, because if
If they're willing, that's fine.
and if it's not feasible,
When does
then
downtown schedule for replacement?
As it breaks, right now, our concern is Mill Street Pump Station. We're having issues with that. According to the owner of AAA Pumps, that's one of 2 pump stations of that style left in the state.
Oh, an antique.
They're 30 years old.
Right.
So, short term, what we may do, you've probably never seen it, but we've got about a 20 to 30 foot hole you go down, and then there's 2 it's driven by compressors blowing air to pump the water up. So his short-term fix is to pull everything out of that, drop in 2 pumps there, pump out of that till we can actually come up with a regular design pump station. So he was giving us estimates I should have for next week. And then part of it is looking at pieces at a time on School Street and Academy Street. Just so that, doing the repairs without bonding. So that's our plan.
Good to have a plan.
Trying not to raise rates again. I don't know if you noticed, Tony has raised theirs.
What about the river basin? They haven't hit you with an assessment yet, have they? Or is that you?
What we've got to watch is what the new fees for us are, because for the last 30 years, they have severely underfunded the replacement.
Oh, I know.
And so, we had what they anticipated the cost. I haven't seen the new cost, all the new costs yet, so once we see that, it's a better handle.
Horrendous. I mean, they were talking about an excess of $10 million.
Oh, their plan for the next 10 years was between 80 and 100 million, I believe, in upgrades. But
That wish list, or we gotta have?
they've always looked at the Cadillac plan, and so when they went to the UV disinfection, that's when Meredith, a couple of the other towns put up a big stink and said, listen, if we're paying, we want to have a say. Meredith wanted to cut that project. The way I looked at it, it was already put out to bid. They wanted to stick with chlorine, and to me, using chlorine with people dealing with it, you can have potential problems. The ultraviolet's like using black light. So to me, it's, at that point, that project we let slide, and that one went through, but any future ones, we want to see what you're proposing and what the options are.
Who sits on the board of the Winnipesaukee River Basin project?
There's a representative of each
community.
Who's the Tilton community member?
Johanna.
Johanna goes for us, because 2 of us have jobs,
I've been there.
but
Maybe we should go talk sewer sometime.
I've gone with her.
if you want, you can always go to the treatment plant and get a tour if you want.
Been there. It's a lovely place. Smells like roses.
No, last time I went, he drank the water. Sorry. I don't do that again. Nah.
I don't care what he's drinking and eating. I think it was a interesting place, certainly.
It is. When you look at how many communities it's covering.
Now, does the board of directors for that take votes and represent the Tilton interest?
Well, up until-
Or is it an informative thing?
Well, right now, it's still in its infancy. Up until now, it was always the state said, this is what we're doing, here's your bill. We've been rather quiet because we're paying 5%. Although since I've been on the commission, we've added a ton of projects that are probably over 5% of the use. Laconia's 50 to 55%. So they haven't fully decided on voting. Do we vote one community, one vote? Do we vote on percentage? I mean, percentage is a fair way.
That's the way they do the garbage co-op.
Yeah, but that hasn't been fully ironed out yet.
Before they spend any money, they need to take some official votes
Yeah. Well, in the
with
past-
taxpayer representatives.
Yes, well, in the past, it was the state just telling us what they were doing, and here's your cost of it. Now, at least, there's some communication going both ways.
All right.
It's a shitty job. Someone's got to do it.
All right, thanks.
Welcome.
All right, the minutes of 6:3.
I think I'm missing minutes of 6:10. not to jump way ahead, but,
I have, you want a copy? It's just one page.
no, I have one page, but there's no adjourn, and that wasn't how it, where's the rest of it? I mean, isn't this the one that Joe ended up making a motion as well?
I thought we had 2 pages.
Yeah.
Are there 2 pages?
6th.
No,
No?
Wait a minute, which one?
June 10th.
June 10th. Yeah, this is the one that Joe
There
ended up
should be,
making a motion
there
as
should be a
well.
couple of motions on this.
I thought that was in June 6th.
I don't know. No, this was at our meeting, right?
yeah, that was at the regular meeting. June 10th is when we got together and talked to the...
No, this is, June 10th is via the telephone.
That's right.
Yeah, that we called
That's the one we're talking
state.
about, is June
Yeah,
10th.
right. But it's not all here.
Right.
No, that's not when we called the state.
No, this is when we called up
June 10th is
Pat
not when we called the...
Constantino on the phone.
Right.
Yes,
This is
And I-
hawkers and peddlers.
right.
And
We
there
did
was,
not call the state on that day.
no, that was on June 3rd, right?
That was the 2 motions. I made a motion, then Joe made a
No, it
motion.
wasn't
That's
3rd.
right, that's right. The 3rd was when we talked.
That's
No,
correct.
that's recycling.
That's
It's
recycling.
recycling, right.
But on June 10th, when we did the meeting and Pat was on the phone,
Right.
Yes.
there
Yeah.
was a motion from Joe,
Yeah.
Joe made a motion,
and it's not here.
right.
No, it's not.
I was doubting myself.
And Mr. Prue is Proulx.
Yep.
It's all right, June 3rd.
Make a motion, we bring June 3rd to the table for discussion and approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as written for
Second.
June 3rd, 2013.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
I abstain. I was not present.
All right, I'll bring the minutes of June 6th to the 2013 to the floor for discussion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yep.
When you gonna come take a ride on the rafter?
I was thinking of that. I'm qualified.
They're working on
I did the football field portion last night. I didn't
So work well?
I noticed, it's starting to, the last 2 times I was noticing holidays. The first one, I figured was the deadline, but then it wouldn't come out until the last time somebody asked.
I just had my X-Mark worked on, brought it back, and it's like supersonic. I could go cut my hayfield with it.
I'm not sure that this is entirely correct. I may be wrong, though, because there's a couple of meetings that are melding into each other.
That's, okay, thank you.
I'm on the first page, which says, Chair Constantino made a motion that the Board of Selectmen send a letter to Tanga Outlet requiring the vendors at the craft fair that do not produce from the fruits of their own labor to fill out a hawkers and peddlers license. Those that do make their products from we didn't ask them to fill out a hawkers and peddlers. That's when we asked them to fill out information. We didn't say they had to fill out a license.
Well, that motion that they didn't have to fill out the license was the one in question that I just lost the page to, right? That was the June 10th meeting.
They still had to fill it out in my motion. We just waived the fee.
Well, see, that's a total contradiction. Because the intent...
We haven't got the,
Okay, all right.
got the motion.
All right, this is what I was trying to tell everybody on the phone when we were talking. It's a total contradiction. You can't have one without the other. Our intent was to track the information of the people that did not sell from their own,
Right.
fruits of their own labor, so that we could have name, address, information only. They didn't have to go through the notary, the license and all that, their picture ID from the, when you fill out a hawkers and peddlers, they have to go through pages of information, which is daunting, and we said we would not, they would not have to, in the prior motion to that, we said we would not have them fill out the hawkers and peddlers for the June license, but then in your motion said you want them to fill out the hawkers and peddlers. I think that the intent was to get the information of the people, so that we could track that beginning in July. And I think we accomplished that without having them to fill out the hawkers and peddlers.
I thought my motion was pretty specific, to have them fill out the required paperwork and that we waive the fee.
So which one do you
Pretty
go?
much exact, isn't it?
Which is what I was trying to tell you on the phone. It contradicts the first motion.
Yes,
It does.
So, I mean, which one do you go to? Do you say, no, I really...
One that says they have to do it.
Okay,
required.
we had one motion that said they didn't,
Uh-huh.
and we had another motion that said they did.
After that one.
Right.
So,
After
So-
that one.
now, are we going to have them have permits? Because we don't have anything else but an application and a permit.
Right.
There you go.
We don't have, so,
We didn't do that for the people downtown. They filled out an information. So I don't get the purpose. I mean,
I want to know who these people are. That's all.
okay, so then you
That
just need the
information will be
information. So we
forthcoming.
got the information. We got that information, Joe. We did not,
So in spite of the fact, the motion said they had to fill out the hawkers and peddlers license and we'd waive the fee, we're not requiring them to?
the purpose of the reason why they had asked for it to begin with was because there was such a short notice, less than 2 weeks, to fill out the pages, go to, get it notarized, get the paper, your insurance papers and all of that. To go back to the people and have them, each one of them do that, all of the pages correctly, and get them back to us before the fair started was unfair.
well, it requires, state licenses and whatnot.
They would have had to
For 'em
gone
to
to the
completely
state
fill
and do
those out,
all that
they
other
would have had to
stuff.
got the state
if-
permits.
If you filled out that, and that's what we were trying to avoid in our first motion.
Not what I was trying to avoid. I was trying to avoid charging them a fee at the last second. I still want the information. I was going to amend your motion, but I didn't think of the words to put it together until after the vote was already taken or being taken.
Well, you can roll me under the bus on that one, because...
And me.
Hey.
We
have a
interpreted
big
it a little
motion.
bit different, and the people, we got the information that we need, and they did not actually fill out the hawkers and peddlers for June, but will in July, if they come back to July.
Still don't have the motion in writing.
Right.
Do you have an exact copy of the motion I made on the pen?
It's not on this paper. It should be on the, did you record that? The phone conversation? No. Okay.
It was on the tape, though.
No, you didn't turn the camera.
We were right over there, and I turned on the camera.
All right, then I'll go watch the movie.
Yeah, I turned on the camera.
All right, if you turn the movie on, I thought it was,
I don't know how much you'll hear, but you can turn on the camera.
I brought the microphone all the way
Over
right
here?
over near the phone.
Okay.
okay, now I remember that, Joe.
All right. Is there any more changes or corrections? And it just doesn't look right, but we can go to June 10th and then we can correct it.
Okay. Because part of that should be on June 10th, shouldn't it?
Right.
Now, I think we've just talked about it so many times that it's
Yeah.
melding,
Yeah,
because this was at the beginning of our meeting where we talked to the Secretary of State,
Right,
and then we went right
right.
into it again, and there were so many different motions made about the issue, no wonder we're confused. But I think June 6th is correct. June 10th definitely needs the rest of the meeting,
yes,
because the motion is missing.
yep.
Yeah, we have it, June 10. It's on, so I'll listen to it tomorrow morning and put it in.
What's that?
I just... Tilton trash.
Oh,
What page?
Page 5.
Just tell me the page.
Page 5. Second paragraph.
Tilton Trash with the town logo, seconded by Chair Constantino.
But that's what you said.
Yes, I love it.
I do
I didn't realize what you said.
I love it. It was very purposeful.
I will laugh every time I bring my trash out in it.
Yeah, every time I put my, that's it.
Sandy tried to stop it.
Every time.
Oh, as long as you guys can live with the rules.
I have never had so much fun putting out trash now.
Okay,
great.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of June 6th as corrected.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
See you Saturday. No tree cutting.
Bye, Peter.
We'll see.
No tree cutting.
Okay, make a motion to bring the minutes of June 10th to the floor for discussion.
May I suggest that we hold that motion until we have
Now we get the rest of the
minutes?
Oh,
minutes.
okay, yeah,
Definitely a part missing.
okay.
June
June
10th.
10th.
Joe's motion is missing,
Yeah,
because I was specifically looking for it.
right.
To see exactly what it says.
Yeah.
Because that would be the last motion made, and that would
Trump
preclude,
the other motion, but
yeah.
Selectmen's reports.
But we'll see how it turns out.
I ended up creating a form and put on it just everything I could think of to garner information, which eliminated them from having to fill out state. It's got, just how many people. You should
Okay.
look at the form, see if there's anything you want to add.
My only concern is to get the information, but
Well, I know, because you and I
if I
had that
said one thing and
conversation.
then we did another, that needs to be resolved somehow.
Well, say, we couldn't,
What couple of dates do we want to send out to the water commissioner and sewer commissioners for,
other than
Possible.
those that we're sending out to the Tilton Selectmen and the fire commissioners.
well, they would actually like it to be different than a Thursday evening,
Who would?
Who would?
the water district,
Why?
because we're so busy during that time.
No, we set aside a block of
They didn't want
time.
to take that time, that's all.
I mean, we all have meetings every other night of the week,
It's
so-
fine with me, we can set
We'll
those
set
times
a
out if
block
you
of
want.
time aside like we do everyone else.
Yeah,
It's fine with me.
it's like this week, I've been to a meeting, sometimes 2 meetings a day.
Me too. I
All
would
week long.
suggest we set an entire hour aside for them.
Yeah. Discuss it and I mean, you
I mean, a
said next
clean
meeting.
hour.
Yeah,
I
you said
wouldn't-
next
We haven't
week is
picked
too
one.
full, right?
Why don't we,
I don't have a calendar.
why don't we ask them for dates in July that they're available on Thursday evenings? Other than the 18th where we have a public hearing? Well, we have a public hearing. We want to try to devote an hour to their,
Yeah.
For 1 hour. Any special time, Pat? If they,
it would have to be when they get out, I'm sure.
Yeah,
So 5, 6, whenever.
yeah.
5 would be the
About five,
earliest.
Yeah,
5 would be the better time for us.
yeah.
And we shouldn't schedule anybody at 6 o'clock. Give them 5 to 6. Don't schedule anybody until 6:30.
We're trying
We'll
only
have
to
enough.
schedule one in an evening, so this was unplanned, so.
We've been doing that for years.
Remember, we used to have 5 and 6 people in a row?
Well, if they
Like,
can't come to, say, 5 o'clock, maybe we should get together at 3, do our meeting so that when we're done with the meeting with the fire and water, we'll adjourn and go
So
on.
we're so dim tired, we say yes to everything?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
no.
No, thanks. Okay, so you've got some dates, just ask them for July, and,
well, if they're at 5 o'clock, we wouldn't be that tired. Only if it's 7 or 8 o'clock at night do you start running downhill.
I'm running downhill, oh, it's 7, that's right. Okay. Do you have anything?
No, I think our conversation today, but they came up and pretty much everything that was talked about downstairs was talked about up here. I think it's exciting, and they seem like they genuinely want to get this going and get Gaslight Village, their utilities all straightened out and improve what they have there. They're already making some improvements, and their new officers seem to be genuinely interested in improving what they have there, so, as well as the people who live there are backing them up, so. And I meant it, I'm sure the planning board would be more than happy to meet with them to go over ideas that they come up with, so that they know whether they're doable. Okay, that's it for me.
We've been having a problem with the electricity at the senior center, and today we had an electrician there that actually put in different amperage in one of the breakers. Hopefully that will solve the issue of tripping the breakers. Going forward in the future, we will need to upgrade the incoming amperage from the pole,
What have you got now?
100
Oh, yeah, especially with air
to
conditioning.
200, which would mean that the panel in the hallway would need to be changed. So I asked the electrician today if he could get me an estimate, and he would. He's going to get me an estimate, but it's going to be in the ballpark of about $1,200 to do that, and that would give a lot more amp service to the back where all of the appliances, and particularly in the future when we're trying to fundraise enough money to do a commercial dishwasher. But right now, the way it's set up, we would be squeaking in the electricity amperage range.
Right.
So we'll keep that in the back burner, and I'll keep you updated. Tuesday night is the senior center fundraiser, spaghetti supper at the Lockman Country Club. It's $10. Tickets still available here at Town Hall. Myself, or anyone on the executive committee, Emily LaPlante, Iris Ianno, Jane Alden. And then on Wednesday evening, we have the fundraiser for Nom Boudreau. It is cruise night. It will be outside. Tickets are $10, and you will get to have an opportunity to have a hamburger, hot dog, and a drink,
We're making fresh squeezed lemonade, Pat, squeezed to order.
fresh squeezed lemonade. So it'll be a fun night. I understand, God willing, that Norm will be there.
Yep.
So
Said he was gonna be.
that is coming up. And the question last night at Budget Committee on the way out was snow storage again, so we need to start thinking about what we're going to do, where we're going to do it, and how. So,
What was their comment?
snow storage,
I brought it
Snow
up to
storage.
Joyce
how, when, where, and
a
why.
week ago. We don't have any place to put snow.
So can we continue to put that on the under old business until we get to start looking for
We need to start looking,
sites?
because there is no place to put snow storage. Buffalo Park, 132, Riverfront.
I have an idea. I don't know how well it'll go. I have not talked to anyone, but it's my understanding there's a piece of property on West Main as you're going down. It's after the high school, but before Barbudos. Anyway, there's a piece in there, and there's some almost 50 or 60 acres. And the school, from what I was told, is interested and would like to know who owns that piece, interested in buying it for future expansion. And the front part, there is a driveway that goes back, and if maybe we could talk to the school and see if it'd be possible. They want the acreage for more fields and things, and we could have, say, a 2 or 3 acre piece towards the front where the guys could take it, and it's on the high school side
Why
of the
is that property any better than the one at 61, besides 61 Business Park Drive?
Well, I don't believe there's any water issues.
But if there,
We have to build that
wherever
one
you
up, don't
put
we?
snow storage,
Yeah.
snow from the roads, shouldn't we be cognizant of the land we put it on?
Of course we
Because
should.
it's going to pollute whatever is underneath it, regardless of whether there's an aquifer directly underneath it or very close by, which is the Winnipesaukee River.
Wasn't there issues up on up on Business Park Drive,
Only because
covering it?
those who brought it up were of the mindset that we were just going to dump snow there without having a thought to polluting. I mean, my
They didn't
property,
wanna
for
pay
example,
for it much
is not
either.
over an aquifer, but I have a dug well, and I surely wouldn't let anybody put snow on my property.
No.
When we locate a place to put snow, we have to be
Oh, I know.
thinking out of the box, and we have to make certain that wherever we put it, we are containing it, and we are treating it as what it really is, and that's toxic waste. It's hazardous
I
waste
think
for certain.
I think that's all of ours intent,
Yes.
to do that. We just have to keep being persistent.
Any place that we, choose to think about, all those issues have to be addressed on any site that we look at.
So it would be the least expenses for us to develop property we already own.
But we also have
Which is on
somebody
Business Park
that's got
Drive.
a right of first refusal on that piece.
Who?
I said, there's someone that has a right of first refusal on that piece.
They still would if we dumped snow.
But we're not selling it.
Well, not right now.
So if we
Oh,
develop
in the
it for a snow dump,
In the future, would it be, what you're saying is in the future, would it be
Yeah.
worth it if it's being used as a snow dump
if
for
we
25 years?
put all the protections in place that we should put in regardless of where we dump snow.
Well,
We don't have any snow dump money, do we? Didn't that snow dump money get cut out of the budget?
Yeah, unfortunately, there were groups in town that were not aware of what I've just said, that we shouldn't be just putting snow anywhere in town regardless of what's underneath the earth.
Right. I think it was a presentation issue as well. I don't think we really presented it.
Well, we
that
didn't
way.
have to,
Regardless, we've
everybody
got
made
just a few months to find a place and no
right.
money to do anything.
Right. We've got to find a short-term and then a long-term.
right.
Well, short term, we've got no money.
Right.
And we do have the property behind the town garage on Clark Street, Clark Road.
Is that
The leaf
ample?
dump.
Is that ample enough to do it?
Bill, we've
It
got
doesn't
it.
snow too awful hard, maybe.
But again, we have to think about how we're going to treat.
Don't we have monitors and things out back of that?
No, we have monitors to the east. I don't know if there's one, I think there's some to the west.
Are they to the east?
And putting snow there is no
There
better
are
than
some
putting
on
it
the
up the
abutting
street.
property that is
Oh, okay, yeah.
northwest.
I know where
I
you're going.
believe there is one on the southeast.
Right, yeah, one over there.
I think there's one down there.
Yeah,
Okay.
But it's not for our property, it's from the abutting property.
right.
And it's for petroleum, correct? Okay.
And you'd have to go up Clark Road to access it, or down Clark Road. Or we'd have to change the access.
Well, it would be close, I mean, that would be a good, that's a good thought, because it would be close by the garage, and then,
Yeah, but they don't, that's
Main
not where they
street that we
collect the
haul the
snow
snow
for
from
dumping.
typically.
Yeah.
So
I know.
we bring
Main
it up.
Street is where they collect the snow for dumping.
Yeah, that's
Right,
right.
so they just go down Route 3 and up that little section of Clark Road and in and dump.
That would be
But again,
a
we
little
have to
bit
be,
closer than
we have to
this spot.
think about what we'd put on the site to mitigate the hazardous waste and the material we're dumping.
Well, I know one year we had so much snow that the town ended up, we let them put snow on our field across the street, the one end, which is all sand. And, they did put snow there for just the end of that one season, because they ran out of space, because we had so much snow.
Let's keep it on the agenda, let's keep talking about it. I have one more question. Joyce, where are we with the estimates for getting things moving on a non-public space?
Not made any progress this past week.
Okay. So can we keep that on the agenda as well?
Right in the front of my weekly selectmen's meeting folder.
All right. Got it. Don't forget, before you go on vacation, we need candy for the
Old Home Day.
Old Home Day,
22nd.
22nd.
Now, are you clear about what you want for vehicles with Arthur? He asked me that the other day, and I said, I heard the selectman talking about, he wanted to know if there's anything special he has to do.
You say the pickup truck.
The new one or the,
Oh, of course, the
We
new
got the
one.
new one-ton. They got it painted and everything. I
Yeah.
saw it today.
Let's do it.
It's just about ready to hit the street.
Yeah,
As long as we have a ladder getting up there, I'm fine.
the new one-ton
and not to accidentally hit the thing.
dump. Don't tempt him.
It's push button, the dump.
We're talking about Arthur, not Dennis. Dennis would apt to do that.
Oops.
Whoops, I'm sorry.
Dumps.
One button?
Yep, well, no, it's got a little, oh, no, maybe I'm thinking of the.
It's got a safety on it, I hope.
I certainly hope that it could be locked up, because a disgruntled employee could dump the entire select board, and God only knows who, right in the street, which actually, you gotta admit, would be pretty funny up to a point.
I've already been dumped one right at the end of the parade.
I saw that.
There's thousands of
Crash.
people looking. Tilton trash just dumped. And I didn't have a purple bag on either, damn.
Oh, God, do we have bags? I'll wear one.
Wearing recycling stuff in the back.
Oh, yeah, I have a roll of bags here.
Oh, goody.
Wear one of these, you won't have to pay $1.50 for it.
Do we need to approve
it?
these or anything so that it can move forward?
He's
already
gonna get to
did.
that. No, he's
Okay.
gonna get, no, we have
Another
to change.
email from Sarah.
We're not changing again.
Oh,
No.
with or without the liner.
Emails, I mean, I don't know what
Oh.
the most recent thing.
That's
is.
all.
I don't care about the liner.
Tim wants them to,
Tim has asked us to do the,
the lining,
yep,
the liner.
Either with the liner or without the liner.
two options. The bag liners have been changed to lighten the bag color, so black lettering is very clean and clear and crisp against the purple bag. Samples are on the table, yes,
All right, now, have
but
you-
it says waste zero, and that's not a good example. I really want it to say Tilton
They
trash.
love the color. They love the color.
My first question is,
Was it, let me see
is it going to
that?
cost any more money for the liner?
No.
Oh, come on, no.
One has a liner, one doesn't, but this is the same 1.5. Just doesn't have the liner. The plastic is heavier. This way, you can kind of sort of see through it, but if you put the liner in, you can't see the trash. Well, in order to get, they don't have a lavender. So what they don't have a lavender. So
That's their purple?
What you have is this, and you can see that it shows up better than the dark purple.
What size is that?
This is a 15-gallon,
Okay.
little one. All right, so now, somewhere here, we have the... Take away
Oh, she has the
50
other one.
All right, this one says, all right, good enough. This is wrong, too. No, this is wrong. There's one that says just this, exactly this, so it says Tilton Trash. All right, and it's got waste zero. What the hell happened to that paper? Oh, here we go. Trash. I asked Tim if he would, and I love the name, we're good, but they're gonna, this is a number that's supposed to be about quality control for the bags. It doesn't say that, all right? That these bags are for garbage. Doesn't say that. Technically, it doesn't say that.
Right.
I've been talking to various residents who are still totally unconvinced that the garbage bags that say Tilton Trash are for garbage. So somewhere it should say for garbage only.
Why does it say made in the USA by Waste Zero? Why do we care?
Those numbers are going way down. It's going to be in little letters down there.
So just put
Garbage only.
garbage only.
Garbage only, which is what they did there, but they didn't combine it with the Tilton Trash. So.
Gotta leave Tilton Trash.
All right, and we're good with that, but it should say for garbage only right underneath it.
Yep.
Or this bag for garbage only.
Or not for recycled materials?
Or not, we may put all of that crap in there.
Well, he just sent us a thing here that says, did you see what he sent us? It says,
Sarah Berger, option 3.
no, Tim.
You send us another one?
What is it? I didn't get it.
No, that's the first one.
I have to tell you, I talked to Arthur today.
It just came tonight.
And
Yeah,
he
but
said
that's still
the
the
best way, let them know the number of people who had their recycle bins out at the curb full of trash.
Yeah, they don't get it. It
Well,
says
no,
totally
this-
recycled, but it doesn't say
This-
for
There was a
recyclables
brochure.
only.
Listen,
There was a brochure there that
it
said
doesn't,
for
I didn't get a
It
brochure.
blew out of the bin.
I had 5 or
it
6
was in the
people
bin
call
and they
me.
didn't see it in the bin.
I had 5 or 6 people call me up and say, I've got this big container, what's it for? Is this a recycling container? Is this a garbage bin? I said, well, there's a pamphlet that explains it. No, there isn't. I mean, the problem is, we are relying on paper notifications to educate people on recycling.
Right.
And we haven't done anything previous to starting this to really let them know what they need to do, what they can expect.
Okay, that said, we've been working on a letter. Much to my chagrin, the letter is not ready for proofing. The letter that we were talking about sending out just before, for pay-as-you-throw.
Yeah.
I guess everybody thought that a brochure and stuff was enough to explain it, but it's turning out, and I have personal experience with this issue, not to be the case. I have spoken with some residents 6 times. 6 times. 6 times. There's been residents that won't leave their name, but it's a very colorful conversation. I don't do much of the conversing, but I think they just want to be listened to and heard, which I've tried to do. On Monday, Dennis and I were right there before the trucks got there, and we talked to the crew, and okay, how are we going to do this? And they say, well, what do you mean? And it's like, well, we intend to go with you. There's no real room for that. The crew takes up all the available space, and we go from place to place in a minute or less. They got all those bins delivered, over 1,000 bins in one day. because they run from place to place. So it wouldn't take 10 minutes and you're out of sight of the truck, walking along behind the truck or whatever. If you happen to see a guy, Dennis and I talked about it and decided to monitor, give them our numbers and cards, and if they encountered residents, because everybody was getting a 96-gallon bin on that day, and then we'll swap out accordingly. And Dennis or I would come to the location immediately, or call them, or whatever they wanted to do. Well, there have been some phone calls. Some people want to change them out, but 10 so far, maybe 15 tops when you
There'll be
combine.
more.
That's my observation as well. There will be more. Some people don't even get that this is a recycling bin. Some of the people who know it's a recycling bin wonder why they got it. Getting a letter out in short order, I would think will help to answer some of the questions that we haven't heard yet. In my section of town, there appears to be a silent revolt. All of the garbage cans on one of the streets at that end of town, the recycle bins, are still sitting at the end of the driveway.
Yep.
They haven't taken them to the house. Now, do they intend to keep them at the end of the driveway? I don't know. I haven't stopped and talked to them, but they're still getting used to the idea, maybe, or I don't know. We haven't heard the last of that, but the calls have slowed considerably.
I have to ask a question.
Sure.
Yeah, well, I'm going to make a comment first. You know, our inconsistencies in what we're doing is really irritating people. The minutes of June 6th will reflect that we didn't want any dates to go out. We removed them from the flyer. But if you go to the Tilton website, it says we'll be starting to pick up recyclables in our spiffy new bins sometime in July.
Yeah. The recycle flyer that you approved here last week says July 8th.
Week of July 8th.
The
Okay.
week of July 8th.
And thank you for
Sometime
confirming what
in-
I said about inconsistencies. If you read the minutes of the June 6th meeting, it says specifically in here that the selectmen are concerned about dates and that they'd rather have it say, pay-it-bag program for recyclable garbage will begin soon. Watch for notification on the
That's what it
town's
said.
website.
That's what it
But
said.
yet, it's not consistent. Now we're telling them it's going to start in July. I get people calling me up saying, I haven't even got my bin. How can it start in July? When am I going to get my
Pay as you
bin?
throw, it's not starting till sometime later in August.
It's going to start when the Board of Selectmen say it's going to start, and
Yeah.
that's the problem. The Board of Selectmen say, we're concerned about these dates, now on the website, and I don't know who authorized that, start sometime in July. You know,
Pay as you
when they,
throw never started any time in July.
No, the recycling,
recyclables, yes, but,
they're picking up that second week.
oh my God.
Catherine, the flyer that
Okay.
we sent out says that.
When are those people that don't have bids going to get bins?
They're going to
July
get bins.
15th.
On when?
July 15th.
And when are we starting?
July 9th will be the first pickup.
Thank you.
That's right. And we'll pick up the ones that have recycle bins.
Yeah, they'll pick them up.
The rest of the bins will be delivered that week. And pay as you throw is sometime well after that. This is just a, we
Why are
gotta
we
start
starting?
somewhere, and that's
Why
where
are we
start.
starting then July 8th? Why didn't we just postpone it?
We did, I thought we did.
No, we didn't.
You know what?
Because they
The
can't
Board of
pick it up.
Selectmen have said all along, the dates. We don't even have the product. Why are we setting out dates when we don't have the product? You know, I
said this
had,
right along, right from the get-go.
so am I. And this
Look,
is
we
why.
approved the week of July 8th. It was approved at the meeting.
Yeah.
That's what went on, but the pay-as-you-throw part, the dates came off.
Correct.
The dates came off. There's no set date for the pay-as-you-throw. When we get these
We're
bins-
gonna that tape because I believe we specifically took the dates off.
We took
so
the
that
date
we
of
would
pay-as-you-throw.
not be in the bind that we're in right now
Right.
because we didn't have enough bins to go around and now we've got
Do you have the minutes?
You know what? You know what the point is here? Is the inconsistency. I'm back to it again.
If we can't decide on what we did, how are they supposed to decide on what we're doing?
Here we go. And we've got
The finished proof.
people with no
with the
bins
changed information
can't start the
went
recycling.
You're
to
both
everybody,
saying the same
and then it went to the printer. The one that we approved on Thursday
No,
night.
it's hurry up, get this done, we need
Yeah.
a date, because this is gonna go out, and then we get a date.
a
And
flyer.
then what happens is now they don't have bins, and we're starting the week before, they don't have bins, and these people who think that they're left out of half the world anyway, they are.
Okay, so.
We're off to
which
a
goes my
smooth
next-
start.
Which goes off to my next,
Which is what we
all
didn't
well and good for
want.
you guys to say. I'm getting the guys that are calling me,
are
talking
too.
bad about my mother in no uncertain terms. I hope you don't get those.
calls.
I hope you don't get those.
Oh,
I
I tell you
can't walk
what,
down Main Street without getting nailed 4 or 5 times.
I can't shop at Market Basket anymore. I've been shopping in
Right,
Concord.
exactly.
I don't have 3 hours to get a gallon of milk.
Well, welcome to my world.
So, well, yeah, but,
Well,
you know,
it's-
this world didn't
is-
have to exist if the Board of Selectmen had any credibility at all with this.
Really? You approved this on Thursday night.
Yeah,
You approved it on Thursday night.
yep, say it
You
again.
talk about my credibility or our credibility, we approved it. We
Why
approved
did we
it.
take the dates
We
off then?
approved this on the
We
website.
took the pay-as-you-throw thing off.
What's on the website? What's on the
that-
Joe? What's on the
We'll be
the
website?
same
starting
thing that
to
was
pick up
on-
recyclables in our spiffy new bins sometime in July.
Sometime in July. I didn't even put a date on
Pickup is the
there.
same day as regular trash day, only every other week. So when's the other week?
Every other week.
When is the other week?
Well, you know, you start off on, let's say, the 9th, and
Well-
add 14 days to that, which would be the 23rd.
And the best
Be
part
every
is,
other week.
how do you explain this? Sometime in August, we will be transitioning to the pay-as-you-throw system. Well, we specifically, you can't argue that, it's right here in black and white. We specifically said we didn't want to set a day out for
I didn't set a
pay-as-you-throw.
date. Sometime in August.
We didn't even say August. That's the point,
I don't
Joe.
understand what's so damn funny here.
It's not
I'm
funny.
at
This is
my wit's
ludicrous.
end with this crap.
It's ludicrous.
I'm trying my very best, unless you guys want to come on down.
Setting a date sometimes in August is setting a date, and that's what Catherine's
Well, I'm
point
sure
is.
I can change that right out of there. I'm sure I can. I'm trying to educate the residents to the best of my ability.
And I think what's happening is that we're having a miscommunication or an inconsistency with communication, and I think that's what Catherine's point is, because what the website is saying and what we're saying on our pamphlets and what we're actually doing, like passing out the bins, a lot of people don't understand until they make a phone call that not everybody got their bins, because they're saying, well, maybe I don't need to do it because I didn't get a bin. Well, other people are putting garbage in their bins because they didn't, their little thing fell out and said, not for garbage, it's recycling. So there's a lot of things that we had to catch up on and educate.
Which
And I-
leads me to my next thing,
Okay.
all right? We were talking about prior to pay-as-you-throw, sending out a letter to the residents to each address and explaining what is what with pay-as-you-throw. But I'm thinking that we need to send it out, we were going to send that out at the end of the month. That's what our thinking was. Well, based on the last couple days, it seems to me that it might have been a much better idea to send a letter out prior to the delivery of the bins. Be that as it may, in hindsight, there's Marjorie and Rue are composing a letter, draft, which they have yet to complete, but I'm leaning on them to get something to the Board of Selectmen to send to the residents and explaining it to them in person or through the letter. I don't know if that'll get to everybody, but that will help to explain and educate residents by residents. I don't have a copy of that letter. Now, is there any feedback on that issue? It's coming, and I'll get it as soon as, I've tried to make a point of every single recycling email I send to anybody, I copy the Board of Selectmen. Every single one. I don't know if you're reading them or not necessarily, or if you have any questions or you have any comments, chime in. Help. I'm doing the very best that I can do with the experience that I have so far, and getting this out to everybody in the easiest possible manner. Going forward, I would love to allay the fears of the residents and let them know exactly how this is coming at them.
It's too late for some.
Well, it's too late to do it last week or the week before, but I think that sending it out now is, it's got to help from here. The next item is the downtown. We didn't deliver anything to the downtown. Simply because we didn't want bins all over the street without people knowing. So this letter that we're proposing to send out, I propose would be hand-delivered to the places, taped on their mailboxes, hand-delivered to people in the affected area.
Can't
Once we
tape
come
them
up
on the
with a plan.
mailbox. You can't tape them on their mailbox, and you can't put them in their
I
mailbox.
can't put it in the mailbox. I could tape it on the door. I could
On
tape
the
it
door.
somewhere where they would see it. If I can't hand it to them in person. Because I don't want that has a potential to go real bad, and I don't want to see that happen. I want to, is there any feedback on that idea? Anybody want to go with me?
I'll help you.
When are they going to get their bins?
We have some of those bins now. But before we actually explain what's going on, we have the potential for bins all over the sidewalk and all over everywhere,
Oh,
so.
we got them all over Route 3.
I
What's the
want to know,
difference?
well, the difference is one of them is downtown on the sidewalks and one of them is on the side of the road on Route 3.
And where do you think some of those people are going to put those bins that don't have any property to put them on?
Now, that's my question. There are two schools of thought that I can see here. One is that we provide a place for them to bring the bins and get them off the main street, or we vigorously enforce the current ordinance we have and just say, do something with them. Now, that just seems a little,
Do we really want to have a place in downtown Tilton where all the recycle bins are gathered in one spot?
Well, that's not a good idea.
I didn't think so,
Some of these,
because
I'm thinking that the collection point might be in that location. And people who can keep the bins at their residences would, but some people got no place for a bin. Maybe some places could share a bin, I don't know.
we've been talking about this for months, and it
Yeah, we
probably
have.
should have been considered before we even started this program.
Okay, well, we can't go back to there. So, what do we do moving forward?
Just give them the damn bins.
We just give them the bins and let them...
Nobody's providing a place for me to put my bin.
Okay, I've heard that argument, and the downtown...
That's what I hear all the time.
Subject to the same ordinances as everybody else. Okey dokey, I'm all set with that, because that
feel?
is the ordinance.
Well, the only problem that I see in the downtown is the apartments that you go up those narrow stairs to get to the upstairs apartments. Where are they going to put these bins?
Well, that's an interesting question, because we have smaller bins available. We do have smaller bins.
Wherever they
And-
put their garbage now, I guess.
A lot of these people are putting out garbage on the sidewalk in violation of the ordinance.
How many
It's
of
supposed to
these-
go in a can with the number on the can.
Is it,
It's all over West Tilton does that, even
know.
off of Main Street.
I know,
does it.
it's not just, it's East Tilton too, I see it.
It's not much of
the
East Tilton.
businesses as well,
Well-
right?
Well, some.
Commercial businesses all over.
Down on
The
Main
problem
Street,
is we
Down
have
there.
a trash ordinance that is not enforced, and it has a lot of issues, and it needs to be replaced with something that is more workable. Because to tell people they can't put their trash out until after 7 o'clock in the morning or by 7 o'clock in the morning. I know it got changed, but still, a lot of people, depending on what time they leave for work, or like downtown, those businesses don't open until 9:30. You know, some are open early, but most of them don't even open till 9:30. So they put their trash out the night before, just like a lot of my neighbors do. They put their trash out the night before. Why, I don't know. You see them out there cleaning up because the raccoons got into it, or the skunks, or, you know, so, but it's still, what we have is not workable. It's been in place
Well-
for a lot of years, and it just isn't working.
It's workable, we just need to enforce it. I mean, after all, they need to make they need to make whatever arrangements they need to make to put their trash out at the proper time. If
According
they
to
don't
the
open
ordinance.
until 9 o'clock, oh well, then they'll have to come in early and put it out when they need to put it out. I mean, other businesses do,
Yeah.
all over town. They do whatever they need to do to get the stuff out there, even though they don't open at 7 or 8 o'clock in the
Well, a
morning.
lot of the businesses have dumpsters.
I'm talking about those who don't. I mean, my trash gets picked up in the east side of town
The businesses
early.
that are
And
supposed
those
to
businesses along there
be
make
picked up
arrangements
are
to
subject
put
to
it
the
out.
same rules and regulations
Yeah.
as every other pickup on that stop.
What if we started with a letter to the landlords, because that would simplify the residents, because the residents really are in apartments, and it's really not their responsibility, it's more the landlord's responsibility. Am I wrong in that?
What's the landlord going to do when they don't own any land?
Right.
You have buildings down there
But
with
it's
apartments
their
above them
responsibility.
that have no land.
Just a few minutes ago, you said, drop it off, let
Let 'em
the
figure it out.
landlord, let them figure it
the landlord
out.
figure it out.
So, but I don't want the resident figuring it out, it's the landlord's responsibility. That's what I'm saying.
Which
I
is
would-
why we need this letter addressed to the property owners of each of these locations, and send it out to the property owners certainly, but each of the residents too.
I think it
Because
needs
they're
to be a
affected.
separate letter, I think it needs to be a separate letter addressed to the landlords downtown Main Street, because they have a separate issue than what's going on in the entire town of Tilton, Joe. And I think that that's what we're trying to address, is what's going on downtown Tilton. We don't want to put them on the sidewalks. So what I'm saying is, get the word out to these landlords, business owners, you know, within the next few weeks, you have to find a place for these.
Right.
This is, you've got to find a place. They're going to be dropped off, they have to be used. It's already been mandated by town meeting. This is happening now.
Well,
You have to do this.
And then what are we going to do?
And then we're going to drop the
Give
bins
them
off.
an extension of,
No, we're going to drop the bins off to them. We don't have them yet, am I right?
no,
Right.
we
so
don't have them.
We don't have them, so when they come in July 15th, on or about July 15th, then we drop them off then. We've got some time within the next week or two to alert the landlords and business owners downtown Main Street that this is happening, it's coming, you have to make provisions for these things to, now, there are a couple that have their own dumpsters, they would be exempt from that, so we don't need to go there, but
But we should send it to
we
everybody.
should send them to the landlord anyway, because it's the landlord that we're going, it's not
Yeah.
it's not the business.
So I think the Board of Selectmen should create that letter ASAP, and it
Yeah.
needs to go out next week.
Yeah.
I mean, this is too much.
Monday.
And then that
Before we do this,
that would
then-
also flow in conjunction with the letter recycling with our approval is going to send out.
Well, I'll send the second I get it, I'll forward it to everybody, because there's going to be things they don't think of, no doubt. But
Yeah.
it'll be a good start, I think.
We're going to have to devote some time to it next week. If they get it out by next week, we're going to have to devote some time specifically to that letter to get it out, because that's going to be time. It really needs to be out there. The residents need to know. I mean, hindsight, we could have done this a little bit differently. We all know that, and we all take responsibility. We could have done it a little bit differently. So now let's move forward and just do it the best way we can do it.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Why is Tilton Recycles on Facebook? Remember the class you and I took?
It's not a town-sponsored thing.
It's on our website!
There is a link to it on the website.
So who is...
That's recycling information. I am Tilton Recycles.
Well, we don't connect, Tilton, we don't use Facebook. We were advised not to use those type of computer gathering places. So it should not be a link on our website.
To do Tilton Recycles. Did you go to the class?
Sandy, I went.
And what was...
I was just talking about the fact that the town leaves themselves very vulnerable, especially when you have people who might put stuff on your site, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or whatever. You might get someone who writes in and says so-and-so's a jerk and, all kinds of... And you are, as the host to that site, you are held responsible.
But we're not the host.
You're not the host of it.
Link.
But it's
linked to
linked
it.
on our website.
It is linked on the
That should
website.
not be there.
Being a link on a website is very different than being a host on a website.
That's not what he said.
No,
He said we should have no connection to these types of sites.
Because you can't control what happens on that site.
This is an informational thing
You don't take email. In other words, people can't write in.
Yeah, they do. They can comment.
Exactly.
Yep, and they can also, as the administrator, I can delete those comments
You can
instantaneously.
set Facebook to no comments, though.
I don't know.
You can.
Yeah, I spoke with Tim about it. He said that you can.
All
Yeah.
right, well, I can do that.
That way you can put your information on it, but no one can add.
So far, people have just been saying, I've never had a negative
Very
comment.
positive. It's very positive.
Yeah, it's
Right.
all very positive.
Yeah,
All I know is what we were told
yeah.
by
'Cause I'm
Attorney
on it.
Dan
I get
Crean
it.
at that
I've actually
meeting.
get the Tilton Recycles, so
Yep.
I think for me, it's very informative as a resident who's never recycled before. I'm ashamed to say that, but to the degree that you folks want me to recycle now, I think it's extremely informative to, the initiation period.
Yes,
And
it
that's
is.
why I think it's important to do that. If we can ask Tim to set the parameters in Facebook, show you how to set the parameters in Facebook where people can't comment and people can't grab a hold of it and send it elsewhere so that we can avoid the problems which they speak of, which I agree with Catherine
I'll
and
work on that,
Sandy.
because it's only supposed to be informative. In
Where it's only
theory,
a
I was looking for questions that I could answer as well, but
You can
if
always
that's
put
not
your
good.
selectman address, you can put Board of Selectmen to where they can address us all on any questions.
Or you could put your selectman address and they could address you directly
Yeah.
to that, and you can still answer your questions, but now you're protected under
Right.
Okay.
with the viruses and
It's
everything.
going to endanger the town on any level.
So this should be taken down until it's fixed.
Right.
No, I'll fix it post haste.
And really, if you give them an address to send their questions to, your selectman email.
I'll put the Board of
You can answer them on your recycle.
Mm-hmm.
These are the questions I received this week, and then answer them.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, it's only you putting information on that site.
I don't have a problem,
do that.
with you saying, putting Board of Selectmen, but the one thing that I find discerning is that sometimes when people write in Board of Selectmen and we reply, I often reply, as a chairman, I often reply to that person, and to find out that other people have already replied and the problem's solved, or the other issue's been, and nobody has replied all, and we've seen the replies to it.
I always try to do
You know.
reply all. I've been caught in that.
And I
trap.
think
I
that's
always
been an
wait.
issue, right.
You know, in case we want to talk about it as a board, I won't respond until after we've had a meeting.
The only response to any of these people that I could see making was, is this recyclable? Yes, no.
Yep.
To put information on there
Yeah.
about, what kind of plastics with specific examples.
Right.
And if you look at
So I think
the-
that would be
site,
more of a,
That's all it is.
right. I think it's very informative.
I
but-
can definitely change around the comment section, no doubt. If it can be done, I can do it.
If you sent that to the Board of if you sent the questions, those kinds of questions to the Board of Selectmen, I can think of at least two, they're going to say, I wonder if that is allowed, or maybe it's not allowed, and
Hey, I can.
I wonder
take
if Joe's
and
around and he can answer it.
I can get it sent to me, and if it's something that requires a Board of Selectmen
Just forward it.
response, I can forward it on. Yeah, whatever you guys want to do.
Well, I personally would like to say to you, Joe, thank you very much for all the hard work that you and the rest of
Absolutely,
your
yeah.
committee has put into this.
Uh-huh.
I know there's sometimes that things don't run as smooth as we think, but you know what?
It is a,
It's not because of a lack of effort.
I
and
expected
it will work
worse. I expected worse.
out. Yeah.
I expected to be accosted by gun-toting residents, and rightly so.
I think,
I was leery. It's gone okay so far. We ran out of bins.
It
That's
has.
my biggest thing.
and I think it has gone in the comments, other than not getting a bin, or why did they leave it at this one, there's nobody living at this one, other than that kind of, information that they were giving us all week long. If you think about the comments that we've had over the last month or two since town meeting, they've been positive, and I think that we're going to find that we're going to get more than 30% recycling, and that's going to be, kudos to, number one, Nom Boudreau for pushing us to do this, and then
Norm.
Tilton Recycling Committee for putting all the action into this. So, I mean, seriously,
Yep.
it's kudos to the whole, a
Without
bunch
the
of you.
support of the Board of Selectmen, it would have never happened.
Because I am excited
I thank you all
about it,
for your support here.
and I'm very excited about this.
I'm totally good with any kind of input you might have. I'm looking for suggestions. I've never given out 1,400 bins and tried to shuffle them out. And Dennis, I gotta really mention to you that Dennis Allen and the Department of Public Works has been a peach.
Yeah.
They've been as accommodating as could possibly be. Dennis specifically, but everybody down there has been helpful. Dennis is all over it. He really is all over it. He knows how important it is, and I talk to Dennis half a dozen times a day, and I know Joyce talks to him all the time, too, and we expect for the next 5 or 6 weeks, it's going to be an inordinate amount of time
Right.
spent dealing with bins and
Right.
that kind of stuff. I don't know how many people called the number on the brochure and haven't reached Dennis or I yet. So we'll see. I expect more as we go along, but, as far as people that were concerned or had questions and really wanted to know right now, the 20, 25, how many, Joyce?
Altogether,
Yeah.
called us, I would say it's under 30.
Yeah, and so let's just say 40,
Yeah.
because Dennis got some, Joyce got some, I got some, Catherine got some, calls.
Yeah.
All right, we've all been
Right.
spoken to. And maybe it's, and Marge got it big time the other
I
day.
guess that's more than 40.
Yeah. But,
Well, out of 1,400, we're progressing. I know there's going to be bumps, and there's other bumps to come, but we're
Right.
trying to make it as smooth as is possible.
Right.
So any input you have is certainly welcome.
1,080 bins delivered. So
Yeah.
50 calls, 1,080.
And we'll get more, no doubt.
Well, for the people that have been contacting me, most of them are very upset that they think that the recycling that, according to this, is going to start in July, that they don't have a bin, and that their trash will not be picked up in the can that they put out on the road. They think that this is a do or die. I've tried to explain to them that no, the pay-as-you-throw
That's right,
system
and that
isn't
should all be a
gonna
part of this letter
start
coming
until
up.
into the fall, but
That should be part of this letter coming up.
I'd like to see something on the website that really truly explains this in great detail. The other question I have is, when you go and press on the informational handout, the back part of the handout that really explains recycling doesn't come up.
Doesn't come up?
Nope.
I've got a hard copy of it here somewhere, and I think Joyce passed out hard copies of this.
I don't want a copy, I want it on the website.
Well,
I gave both sides to Tim to put on the website.
Tim has the information.
I can't make it do anything but,
Can you change down to the second page?
Are you under recycling?
maybe it's this little thing.
If it's on the front page of the...
Okay, you know what, it's this little unit. I don't know what I pushed, I just manhandled it. And I had to actually go through a process of putting in that I want page number 2.
On this, you just scroll.
Okay, so it must be this unit, good.
It's nice color, it's readable.
Oh, I can read it, I found it finally. But we need to create something for the website that very detail explains that.
Oh, you have to wait for it to load.
We can also post that letter at such time as we actually
you have to
have a
do.
letter.
Right.
I don't want to wait for the letter. I mean,
Yeah, but you don't want somebody to just write it, so basically we're writing the letter anyway.
Who's we?
Me.
Okay.
I'm the one who's been putting stuff on there. Basically, I send stuff to Tim, approve stuff that the Board of Selectmen has approved. I put in the thing about sometime in August, which I will change around. And I'll write something, I'll sit down and write something about the recycle bins and the pay-as-you-throw system and the purple bags and where you can buy it. It'll be a little
That's too much
short story.
information.
I know, but what are you going to do?
People want to know very simple things.
Okay.
When are they going to get their bins?
Yep.
If the recycling starts first part of July and they're not going to get their bin until later in July,
Yep.
are they going to be able to put their garbage out in regular barrels?
Yes.
So that needs to be explained.
I will.
It
I
needs
can
to be
put that
explained
stuff.
to them that until the pay-as-you-throw system with the purple
Mm-hmm.
bags is implemented by the Board of Selectmen,
Yep.
they can continue to put their trash out in their regular trash containers. No
I'll write
fluff.
something and send it to
No
everybody, and you can chime in, and we'll come up with something quick.
That the
So that-
pay-as-you-throw system isn't going to start until we've got this recycling portion kind of straightened out.
Yep.
Because that's the other question. If they're not going to get their bins until later in the month, and I didn't have a date, I said probably 2 weeks, are they going to have as much time to practice with their recycling bins as the people in the west side of town did? I'm sorry, I just thought that was funny.
I'll have to extend it 2 weeks.
So these are these very basic things, without any fluff, is what they're concerned about.
Well, then I will make sure that that gets written down and sent to you all so that we can get it on there in a timely manner.
I got some people that are ready to have a revolution.
Well,
All right, we still
Give
have a
them my
couple
number.
more things to go.
I
Yes?
have,
About the Facebook page, Joe, I just went to the Tilton Recycles.
Yep.
And there's a square there that says favorites and it says others, and it has a political candidate. Can you remove?
okay, I can certainly take that off immediately.
When is that Tilton Recycles on Facebook going to be fixed?
Tonight or tomorrow.
Any way to take it down until it is fixed?
I'll see.
Or at least just take the link off of the website until it's fixed.
That's Tim.
That's Tim. So that'd be tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Tim should take that off until it's fixed. the connection. That must be easy enough for him to do, although I say that.
Login with some, on that page.
Right.
I don't know how that would have gotten on as a favorite.
Well, I'm gonna,
Problem.
who's the favorite? Who is it?
Kelly Ayotte.
Well, I don't necessarily understand that on any level.
I guess that, although I like Kelly Ayotte, but
Because I got a message on it last night that said Tilton Recycles likes Kelly Ayotte.
Do we?
Yeah, on my Facebook.
really? I like Kelly Ayotte, but we shouldn't be
No.
promoting her on the town website.
Oh,
No, it's not the
absolutely.
website.
Well, it's
It's the
connected to
Facebook,
the
right.
website, so, yeah, let's have Tim
All right, can we move on from there?
take that link
We all
off.
set with that?
Yeah.
We've got to charge what we've got to
We're
do
way
and everything,
beyond
right?
that, so that.
Did you see number 2 on Tim's
I
report?
have another thing too, before
Oh, you
we
do?
go away, yeah. Noyes Road. Noyes Road has had a dumpster sitting beside the railroad tracks. I guess the dumpster was put there because Noyes Road was apparently too small to get in there to do the garbage pickup.
Yep.
But we drive a 2.5-ton dump truck down that road every winter, and the garbage truck is smaller than that.
No, the garbage truck is longer than that.
Well, longer, but they said they actually think they can get around there without any problem.
In the winter?
That's what they said.
Okay.
Well, they can try it.
And if that is the
That's the
case,
case,
that's going
then
to
we
be
can-
convenient for everybody on Noyes Road.
Right, it will.
And
Yeah.
the dumpster can go away, and we don't pay for that dumpster, but having it go away can only be a good thing for all concerned, and they won't have to ride with garbage in their car or try to drag those containers all the way up
So,
to the...
this is the new management of Bestway saying they can make it.
That's what
Because they went down there with the garbage truck and could not make the corners.
Well, the road has been, the
Because it's
road, I don't know
one way.
when, I don't know when they went down, but Dennis said they widened the road enough so that the 2.5-ton truck gets through there with
The
no
2.5
problem.
because it has a shorter wheelbase.
Shorter.
It's also got that plow on the front.
It's still shorter.
Still shorter.
They seem to
dump truck.
think they can get in there.
You can lift the plow
Let's
up
have
and still
them
make the
take a
turn.
dump truck down
Yeah.
there and try it. And I'd like to have somebody from Public Works.
Well,
or
it's the
selecting
best
on
way,
it.
take a ride around.
Right, but
That's
I-
what Dennis said too. He says, yeah, I'll bet they
They say no.
can get in there.
Really?
Yeah,
They won't in the winter. But let them try it.
All right.
They'll have to figure it out
yeah.
if they can't.
It's worth looking into, Joe.
Yeah.
That would get rid of, that would, make it nicer for the residents, I
Noise
There's
believe.
always garbage on the ground.
Now, getting away from recycling, hallelujah. Both Laconia and Guilford have voted to sign the Wheelabrator contract for their garbage. I spoke to somebody in Guilford and somebody in Laconia, and my impression was that the signing bonus thing, when you took that into account, and what deals could be made, and hauling costs to these various locations, that they would experience significant savings with this plan. We still have until the end of June to do this, but we'll need to pretty much vote on it, I think, next week. I don't know exactly how it plays out. Joyce, do you know the co-op meeting right offhand? The 20th?
It's the it's the day before, our selectmen's meeting, so it'd be the 26th.
26th. Okay, it's a day before a selectmen meeting, so that means next week we'd have to vote to stay or no.
Can you put that on the agenda? Now, we've got to, we have to vote. I'd rather Al be here. So,
Like I say, next week. I just wanted, that's an informational thing. The time is now upon us.
okay.
So we should all be thinking about all the information we have and asking other information if we can find out the answers.
Yep.
Seems like oh yeah, I went to a regional coordinating council meeting, transportation, it's part of the state coordinating system for buses and rail corridor and volunteer driver programs and the short bus, and they have a bus going from Concord to Boston now, and it's carrying more people than Trailways. They're traveling almost 2,000 people a week through that corridor, and they have a couple of auxiliary, I don't know exactly where they run, but they come from the hinterlands to Concord, and then from Concord to Boston and back, and they run several times a day. The 5310 grants, which are all transportation-related grants, the ones that were available for is a POS, or a Purchase of Services grant, which will be used to help pay for volunteer drivers, gas, and that kind of thing, and training and coordinating the last part of the program, getting it set up, and then there's another segment to it that is for a mobility manager who would coordinate with it's a part-time position funded between the RCC and CAP and the 5310 grant to coordinate the drivers to make sure, like, all right, Friends out of Concord. Friends carries a lot of people every month in their volunteer driver program. Is the CAP program, the RCC program, taking riders away from that program? Are they taking drivers away? Are their numbers up or down? And coordinating, just coordinating that kind of thing, because we don't want to, intrude on things that people are doing, certainly. We'll support whatever they're doing. And the short buses, both senior and the senior disabled and the regular Laconia Transit are up for renewal, but the governor and council, which I think meets the 18th, which is Tuesday, has that on their agenda, and everybody seems as though they're totally on board with the funding to make sure that the buses keep going. We're looking at buses and short buses, now that the volunteer driver program is getting up and running, and they're talking about putting a taxi voucher for those places. Let's say somebody called the senior center here in Tilton. There are no available rides. There's no available drivers. Can't hook them up with the bus. What do? Okay, so there's a program that you say, okay, you call this number and give them, I don't know exactly, but you give them their ID, which you've got to get from an approved source, and then the voucher is issued, and you can take a taxi to the doctors or to the pharmacy or whatever you needed to do. The whole thing being to get people to the places they need to go. We're trying to turn it into money. Right now, the transportation system, we're like 18% return on the dollar. So that means 72% is subsidized through state and local and federal funds. So trying to make the bus on some level pay for itself. Or more pay for itself, whether that's even putting on new buses so that it's more convenient and more people ride, and I don't know. That's the next part of the conversation with the RCCs. And I think that there's a consortium thing. Oh, I talked with Kevin Sousa from...
Before you jump on that, I want to make a comment on that volunteer driver program. It's one of the snags that we found here in Tilton is that they have a 2-hour limit, so it's not unreasonable to be told that if you have a ride to the doctors that you can wait, if it's 2 hours or under, you can wait for the bus to pick you up if there's a bus in the area within that 2 hours. And therefore, a volunteer driver would not come and pick you up. And we just had that situation. I wasn't aware of the criteria or the rule, however you want to say it, and it puts our seniors at a disadvantage because there are some seniors that should have exceptions. I mean, if you walk with a walker and you have disabilities, can you really sit and wait for a bus for 2 hours? So I've spoken to Susan Jutras on it, and hopefully we're going to make some changes in the area, but it was a little snag that I wasn't aware of, and some of our seniors were dropping through the cracks because a lot of our rides now in Tilton, they go through the volunteer driver program because a lot of our chat drivers drive for the volunteer driver program, and we try to partnership with them whenever we can. But we had a series of increase in telephone calls for rides, and as we started to ask the folks, what's happening, why, there were 5 or 6 of them that actually kind of fell through the cracks on this volunteer driver program. A lot of the issues have been corrected, but it's coming about. But this one, under the 2 hours, we really can't expect a senior to sit and wait 2 hours for a bus to come by and pick them up. And that was one of the issues that we had with them cutting the bus routes down. We can't expect them to wait 2 and 3 hours for a bus to come around and pick them up again. It's not fair, but I just wanted to say that.
I'll let you know when the next meeting comes up to deal with those buses, and because RCC is the one who's instrumental in securing the funding. They're the lead agency for securing the grants and submitting the grants, and the Central New Hampshire Planning Commission is key in that with the Laconia or Lakes Region Planning Commission as well. And Belknap Merrimack Cap is the lead agency to dispense the funds.
Right. It behooved me to be one of those. Okay, next.
I think that takes care of me. No, really.
It does?
I think.
I stopped you going in a different direction, but...
Okay.
Catherine, you have some... Yeah, but you know what? It can wait until next week. I'm kind of...
Pooped.
Well, yeah.
I just want to bring this up. I know I've mentioned it to many times when it became apparent in the planning board stages that our little road that's going behind our building, and yesterday I had occasion to take a couple of pictures, and you can see that the integrity of the building is on shaky ground, and how it slopes off. I would really appreciate, just for an FYI, that it's a matter of record. I'm not sure if those stumps are coming out.
I thought he said he was going to leave them in the ground.
If they come out, we're in trouble. If they stay in the ground, we're okay, I think.
I can check the minutes, but I'm pretty sure he said he was going to leave them in the ground.
If they're staying in the ground, I think we're going to be okay.
This area back here, other than the fact that he's cut the trees
sloped.
off, well, it's always had the slope, though. But I mean, the only difference now is the trees have been cut off, so you don't want those trees dug out.
Well, we talked about the trees being dug out, and they said they were going to leave the trees on the side of the building.
I think if you ask...
But they never mentioned these.
Yeah.
That's what I'm concerned about. This is on the Route 3 side.
Yeah. But I think if you ask him, he will leave them in there.
How can you leave them in, and that's where the road's going to go? That's where the road's coming.
Not that close.
Filling that in. Yeah, that close.
He's filling all this in?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, where?
Because this is the back,
This is the corner, that's the granite post.
Yeah.
This is where our medical equipment is on this side.
Okay, so the doors are on this side.
This is our
So this
lawn,
is the
right.
back side facing Route 3.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was just a walking path.
It's going to be wide enough for a vehicle, but it's a walking path.
Yeah, but
What?
Yeah, it's not a vehicle path, it's
it's a walking path.
it's wide enough, though.
But isn't the path...
How
I
wide is
thought
a
it was-
vehicle? 8 feet? It's going to be like 8 feet, 10 feet.
I thought
He's not
the...
supposed to be building a, that wasn't the agreement.
It's not a vehicle path, it's a walking path.
So why is it going to be wide enough to accept vehicles?
It's not have to be wide enough to accept vehicles, I'm saying it's wide enough to have a vehicle there. I'm saying that, he's not saying that.
Isn't the
Oh,
path going to be down
That's what
here?
that's what you're viewing?
Isn't the path going to be down here? Till
No,
he gets
he's-
back over here?
He's filling in here till it gets out here.
Yeah,
And
for
then it's
this,
coming right around the post here. Here,
and coming along,
right.
but not, he wouldn't be here.
Yes, he would be here. He's going to be a few feet away from there, like 5 feet away from there,
Mm-hmm.
so that it would come right about here. That's what the plan showed, anyway.
Well, I would suggest that you call him and say, could we just meet at the site? I have a couple questions, and I would like to get,
See, this is the back side of the building.
you know, that
Excuse my finger in the
you'd
picture.
like to, ask him a few questions, and could he meet you at the site so you can discuss it?
I thought we only gave him this corner over here, and he was going to utilize his property to come up, and then just use
That is
our
his
corner to
property.
come up.
That's
This is his.
That's his, see here's our, you can see the granite post right there. See the
But-
granite post? That's our granite post right there.
Did the planning board
That's our-
allow him to put his path that close to our property line?
No, I thought, from what I remember, I'll get the minutes out, but that he was going to go down and go in the ditch area.
That's right.
He can't go into the ditch area because he has a, he can't, and this was part of the discussion in planning board, can't go all the way to the ditch area because there's a drainage from his lot, I shouldn't say parking lot, his lot, where the retaining wall is,
Yep.
there's drainage that goes down, and it goes into where he had to have the dredge and fill with DES, so he can't go down to that point, because that's the drainage.
I know on
I
that
thought he was going to
side,
skirt it.
yeah.
I'll have to look and see what,
But anyway,
He gave
call
us
him and
for a-
just say, hey, can you meet me at the site? I have a couple concerns, I'd like to talk to you about them. And, see what you find out.
Joyce, if you put these on, in the 11 Grange Road file, that would be great. We have anything else? Tim's, do we want to look at the information on the back of what Tim has given us, and we'll make a decision next week? July 1st is when the change is for the bargaining unit. And also, when is the second part, when does the retirement go up?
July 1st.
July 1st as well? Okay, so we have time to do this next week if we put it
Okay.
on the agenda. We can look at the differences, everybody has it anyway, and that way Al can chime in on it as well.
Yeah. Okay.
What about the trash bags? You want to decide?
To know that,
Well,
number one.
for your review and approval of two options, the bag liners have been changed to lighten the color. It's very clear and crisp. The samples are on the table. I've asked Wayzera to redo the bag proof, to have their number smaller at the bottom and related to quality problems, so as not to be confused with our recycling program. Once I have these, I'll forward them on to you.
And Joe, when I came up to the meeting, I handed you the ones that said Tilton Trash. And then
This, you mean?
we talked about it with Joe, and he was going to move those down and put for
bag?
for garbage, what were you going to put in?
For garbage only.
For garbage only.
Tim changed Tilton Trash to garbage only, but that's not, I asked him to add for garbage only, not change it from Tilton Trash.
Oh, okay.
So he misunderstood,
Okay.
so the thing would be, made in the USA by Waste Zero would be really small across the bottom. And it would say Tilton Trash, big letters, and then underneath that, it would say for garbage only.
It still says Tilton.
So can we, you want to write that in? Right. And then just put for smaller?
Should it say for garbage only, not recyclables?
We can do that.
That's very,
I
got
don't
right-
think you can get
here's
too
the
much
Tilton trash
information
one.
on this. Yeah.
All right, so then we have for garbage only?
For garbage only.
And then he also wants you to approve the bag liners being changed to,
And then for the Made in USA, smaller. And then, what size you want for garbage only?
The next size down in font, or two sizes.
go 2 sizes down.
All right,
So it would say Tilton Trash, and then underneath it would say right across, for garbage only.
Yep.
So if this was 30, it would be 25 or 24 or something.
I wrote it in. I wrote it in, but see for garbage only in there?
Yep,
I wrote it where it's gonna go.
yep. And I'll send an email to Tim.
All right, so just give that to Joyce, you in tomorrow? You can give that to Tim. I think they already said yes on the bags
Yep,
last week, right?
We all talked about it, and like, oh, yeah, it looks good to me, but we never voted to accept the color change, and we did have a very specific color that we had agreed on, so.
So, all right, I'll make a motion, we go with this color and density, or without the liner.
Second,
Without the liner?
second.
Yep.
This is the same thickness as the other bag with the liner. We're not on the liner and make the other bag thicker. The whole purpose of the liner was to make the bag opaque, so they couldn't see garbage through it. And you might see some, but I don't think it's a big thing. They should be in cans,
so we
according
want
to the ordinance.
without the liner.
It'll have no liner.
No liner.
Actually, it's the exact same color as the other bags, they just don't have liners.
So now all Best Way has to do is open up the can, and if they see a white bag, they leave it there. If they see a purple bag, they can take
They
it.
take it away.
Okay. All
There'll
right.
be a grace period and what have you
Yep.
that we'll agree on, but you might have to send out a couple of letters.
All right, we've done all that we can. Is anybody going to go to the ribbon cutting at Lockmere Meadow?
tomorrow?
No, it's June 21st.
Oh, I know it's on Friday.
It's Friday next week.
Yeah, I've got that on my list of things to do.
Yeah, we have to sit in the town hall.
Now, I was going to ask about that,
What?
actually.
We have to be in the town hall next week.
Really, are we big supporters of this place?
I am not.
I have a hard time being thoroughly enthralled by this.
I'd really not like to have this conversation on tape.
I don't mind having this conversation on tape. The town of Tilton has enough low-income housing. We have our quota. Unfortunately, it costs the taxpayers large amounts of money
And I agree with all
when we
of
have
that,
these
but
types of developments.
I'm just saying
And
that for those reasons,
that was
if we go and cut the ribbon with them, doesn't that imply that we're like 100% on board? I personally would have a hard time as a guy participating in that ceremony, feeling the way I do about the project itself.
No, I was just saying, next Friday, we're coming into the town hall because we're going to be missing 2 people.
Missing the what?
2 people.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I have a visitor, too.
Well, I can do it.
She can come in.
10 a.m.
Okay, she can come in with me. and we
It's
can.
right down the street from my house. It'll take me less than 3 minutes to get there. I mean, I don't mind going, but it depends on what level they want to.
I have company from Michigan, so my time is very,
So we're good with sending somebody from the Board of Selectmen?
I think it's each individual's choice.
I think it's an
mean,
individual choice.
We can protest it, it's there, so you can either support it because it is there, or we can protest it. and
Well, yeah, but
I don't know what good that would do.
we have to look at it too, that it gives people a place to live that wouldn't necessarily.
Absolutely. It's just the whole thing makes me a little uneasy.
I'm delighted to see they're trying to build them someplace else.
It's a additional pressure on our resources, certainly.
Yes.
And we've got enough issues with taxes to not have an additional burden that we know is a burden.
Yeah, but we're also a community that has a very diverse population as far as, incomes and everything else.
I'm all about everybody, but I have a hard time supporting problems that I know are going to come up.
Yep, I understand. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Quick, get the camera.
Yeah. Did we close that window?
It doesn't usually rain in from
No?
it, but